All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Market Close. We're back from Miami, back in New Jersey. We are home. I need to remind myself to not yell or get too excited during the stream because we missed the market open today because I couldn't really speak. I still can't really speak, but it got a lot better. Right now, I think you can hear a little bit of the raspiness in the voice. It hurts a little bit, but overall, not too bad. In the morning, though, it was just like, it was not, I actually got set up in the morning. It was like 8:20-ish, 20 minutes before we went live. And then I was like, this is not happening. This one's just not happening. So sorry we couldn't be live in the morning, but we are back from Miami. I think for the next like 10, 15 minutes, I'll talk about some of the market stuff that we got going on. Honestly, today's been a relatively boring day. There's a couple of headlines here and there that we'll talk about, but nothing too crazy. Trump did say a lot of stuff, which I guess is headline grabbing to an extent. But the rest of the stream, call it from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do a Miami recap, and we're going to talk about all the stuff that's going on in regards to, or that happened in Miami. Got a lot of gifts that I got to show the chat because you guys were so gracious to get me all these gifts. It was an incredible experience. Again, I'll talk more about it. It was a lot of things to discuss in terms of just the meetup itself. The people I met, not only at the meetup, but living in Miami with Derek for 4 days. So I think it'll be cool to kind of discuss how that played out. I got a bunch of videos I want to show everybody. We did take professional photos. Those photos have not officially come out yet, but I think I'll be getting them soon. And we'll talk about it. It was a hell of an experience, to say the least. And I've done these meetups now 5 times. New York, Toronto, Boston, and California. This one was the biggest one. I think I didn't get an official count, but I think it was something like 300 people. It was within that 250 to 300 people range. And it was incredible. It was really, really awesome. Got Benny right there saying I was too drunk to take good pics. I did not drink at all at the meetup. I drank at the dinner the night before, but I did not drink at the meetup. So no, I'm not. For people are saying I was hungover this morning. I was not hungover at all. I didn't realize on Sunday I probably shouldn't talk because on Saturday I talked for 7 hours straight with a lot of you guys that were there. And I think I pretty much talked to everybody. And if I didn't, please message me and we can get on a phone call or something so I can talk to you. But I think I pretty much talked to every single person at that meetup. And then on Sunday, I just decided to keep talking without realizing, wait a second, I have a show to do in 24 hours. I probably need to relax my voice. So it was fun. It was awesome. I see a bunch of you guys in the chat. We got Marie there. Marie, it was so great to see you. It was so awesome. And she's complimenting me saying I'm so handsome. So I love that as well. Marie, Tess, all the mods. We had Chels. It was great. It was great. So I'll talk a lot more about the meetup in like 12 minutes once the market closes. And we'll recap everything that happened. I wish I had more energy. It's just like I know if I try to exert that energy, my voice will absolutely give out at this point. But thank you all for being here. In terms of some market commentary, so again, 12 minutes until the markets close. Relatively boring day outside of some names. Nvda came out with some news around robotics. We'll talk about that probably more on Wednesday or tomorrow morning. It is a new version of their humanoid robot brain that's already being tested by Meta, Amazon, and Figure. So very important thing to talk about. That one's up 1.7%. The S&P 500 relatively flat. Opendoor did have a hell of a run today. Got all the way up to, wow, 478. Okay, so it was at 570, 587 this morning. If you bought up at 587, obviously right now it's getting hit. I do have some thoughts about Opendoor that I'll talk about. I'm not in the name. However, I can understand why it's running right now. And there's a variety of nuances to it. One of the biggest just being it's legitimately becoming a meme stock and a lot of attention is being flowed into it. Volume today is already 712 million shares. So look, it's down 5% today. I think it could be up 20% tomorrow. So this is one where you just have to be ready for the volatility. But Opendoor right there, 478. Sofi is the real big story of the day, 2622. Very, very excited for Sofi. Congratulations to those that are deep into Sofi. This one's been waiting to break out. I was talking about this with Jason last week, and we'll have some more thoughts tomorrow on Technical Tuesday. And I'm going to talk to Tanner, actually, because I have some specific questions I want to ask him about Sofi. I'll probably ask him those questions live on the Tech Bros podcast at 9:30. But this one deserves it. You're getting your rate cuts. We had the Powell pivot on Friday. I mean, most likely we're going to get rate cuts in the next 2 months or the next, honestly, 2 weeks. And as a result of that, Sofi is going to get a lot of refinancing demand. So it makes sense to me. This is after all the dilution. Street seems to not care that much about the dilution, which is awesome. Maybe some of that dilution is to pay down their debt. Maybe it's for an acquisition, but regardless, the Street does not care. And so it looks like Sofi will definitely close above 20 this year. The question is, can it get to 30? And I think that there is a shot with rate cuts. And then you have Tesla, which I don't really know why Tesla's up today. I think there's a couple of headlines around like Model Y price increases and stuff like that. But besides that, I didn't think there was any massive headline. I mean, Elon said some stuff about Uber and LiDAR and stuff, and we can look at that. But Tesla right there, up about 2.2%. Everything else kind of flat. I did buy Bitmine today. I'll talk more about that. We do have Tom Lee on the show tomorrow at what time? At 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So we'll talk to him about Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin. Well, we'll probably ask him about Bitcoin too, about Bitmine. This will be his first ever performance on the market open. So hopefully we can get him to be a regular, like CNBC has him as a regular. But I bought Bitmine today. Honestly, I was talking to Steve yesterday. I've been excited about ETH for the past couple of weeks. Hood has been my play against it, which I still think is a great play, and I'm just more comfortable with Hood as a business. But I'm starting to get more bullish that Ethereum's really going to make a move, and I don't think we're topping out at 4,500 when it hit 4,950 the other day. I mean, that does not seem to be bearish, given it was $50 away from hitting 5,000. And so you got algos short term. You got some people dumping on Sunday. Bitcoin actually had some whales dump, like a lot of Bitcoin. So we'll talk about that. That's why that one got hit from 115 to 111. But I'm starting to get more bullish at Ethereum. And as a result of that, I think Bitmine's capacity to raise capital and then effectively allocate that capital and then stake the Ethereum they have, which they haven't even done yet, is enough of a reason to take a shot on Bitmine for the long term if you believe Ethereum really is going to do well. And so I think Hood, Bitmine, SBET, I don't hate SBET. I don't own it, but it's trading at a way better premium to NAV than Bitmine. So all the ETH treasuries right here are down on the day because of some weakness in Ethereum, but I don't hate those plays. And then you got Google, which looks like it hit all-time highs today at 210, probably going to close above 205, 208, which is very nice to see. Google, Sofi, a lot of these stocks that kind of were disrespected for the majority of the year are now getting their respect. And it makes sense as some of the money is leaving high beta names that have gotten a lot of respect this year and maybe transitioning into low beta names that have put up the earnings growth, but just have not got the momentum like a Google, like a Sofi. And I don't think that's a horrible thing for this market. Hoodie right here, 107.98, Pouncer 157. Pouncer did get a wick down to 149 this morning. Either it was an insider that sold or it was some algos, but now it's back to 157. So you got that V shape on Pouncer, which is not too bad. And then Nvda right here at 180.73. Which is what we got. Rocket Lab, there's a couple of news updates over the weekend for Rocket Lab. That's why that was up 7%. At one point, it was up 10%. I like it. I own Rocket Lab. I think Vince and Matt, who are the hosts of the Rocket Lab Weekly, they got invited to they got invited to Virginia for the touring Rocket Lab's Neutron Assembly. And Rocket Lab personally reached out to these guys to invite them. So that's so cool. And I'm just so happy that Rocket Lab's embracing some of the biggest advocates. I mean, again, when this stock was $4, you had a couple guys on YouTube actually talking about it. And the only reason I own my shares is because of Vince and Matt. So incredible stuff. Rocket Lab really getting some momentum right here on the day. ASTS and Redwire as well kind of got some of that momentum. ASTS back above 50. That's up 6.2%. And Redwire, that is also up a little bit. Well, it's down now. It was up in the morning. That one's down about 1.5%. Circle right here. Wow. Circle got hit. I didn't even look at Circle today. 125. So again, some of the frothy names getting the froth get kicked out of them, which I think is okay. That's probably why Opendoor tanked towards the end of the day. If some of these high beta names are getting hit, Opendoor right here down 5.2% on the day. Iran, this was a big one. I don't know the headline, but I think it has something to do with a hyperscaler signing a deal with them. I kind of been out of it today, but that might have been the reason. This one up 8%. I think Cypher, Iran, a lot of these Bitcoin miners are realizing there's no money in Bitcoin mining, which I think most of us have known for like the past year and a half. There is a lot of money in data centers and CapEx and AI build out, which for some, and we're not going to talk a lot about this today because we'll do the Miami recap stuff in the next 5 minutes. But the narrative seems to be like AI is dead. There's a bubble in CapEx. And I just don't know where this is coming from. Like, it's not dead. Do we need Microsoft, Meta, and Google to put up even better earnings to realize that CapEx is not dead? And this is going to be a build out that's going to last minimum 2 years, if not 3 to 4 years, if not even more than that. Just like, I mean, if the robots start scaling, you're going to need a lot more data centers to train models to be able to build those robots. So I think this is not going anywhere anytime soon. And it's weird that this narrative is popping up, but it's the bull case for Nvidia, bull case for Iran, bull case for VST, VRT, all the data center plays. S&P 500 right there, down about 0.3%. And I don't think that's anything people necessarily need to be afraid about. The MIT report, dude, did anyone read the MIT report? I already gave my thoughts on it last week, but it was not a good report. It was like one small research division inside of MIT. It sounded like a McKinsey consulting report. These reports are useless, like genuinely useless. They say nothing about the state of society. If anything, it proves the bull case for AI, because if all these enterprise AI ROI attempts are failing, it means you need better companies implementing AI. So not the C3 AIs of the world, but the Palanters of the world, right? So yeah, if MIT is giving us meaningful dips, which I don't think we've gotten any real meaningful dips since last week, but then the PAL pivot kind of changed that, then I think that would be a dip to buy. And so it doesn't feel like the AI trade is dead anytime soon. I see a lot of you in the chat from Miami. All right, so when we close out the bell in 4 minutes, we will talk all about Miami, and there's a lot to talk about. So there's a lot of recap stuff that I'll get into. I want to show you guys all the gifts that we got. I just went to the apartment. I just got back from going to the apartment like an hour ago, and taking a look at what we're going to do for this new setup. We are doing the first official stream on Labor Day, September 1st. I have a lot of different ideas. I'm kind of leaning towards not having a window view, because I just got back from it and I'm like, dude, there's so many things to put in the background. You can't stick them up on the window. You kind of need like a background, like an actual flat wall. And obviously I'm gonna have to, do what I need to do and take out the wall to install the bricks, because obviously that's what would be the background. So I'm gonna have to work on that over the next week. But after I install the bricks, probably a different type of bricks. Maybe we'll get different colors of bricks, because there's different bricks that are out there. It's not like you can order different wallpaper for bricks that you guys always talk about. But like actually, I'll get real different bricks. After I install those, I think we can actually put stuff up on the wall that like is a resemblance of this community. Because like when I looked at the windows, I'm like, dude, it doesn't represent the community. Like, it's a nice view, but like outside of that, like it's not that fun. So I'm happy I went there today and at least did a little bit of thinking of like what this background will look like. So yeah, by September 1st, it should be ready and done. I have a couple more movers coming in on Friday, fixing up a couple things, and then boom, we moved out. We will officially, all of us, be moving out of the parents' house on basically August 31st. And then September 1st will be the first stream. So very, very excited. You need data bricks. Yes, exactly. We need the data on the bricks. Also, I kind of do want to keep the bricks. I do want to keep the bricks. It'll be a good workout for me to install the bricks, since I will do it one by one on the wall. But I also do want to put a ton of I'm about to show you guys some stuff from Miami. Like, it just has to be in the background. There's no way this stuff cannot be in the background. So yeah, we're going to figure it out. S&P 500 right here, 642. Looks like it's going to go a little red on the day. Grab, no big news on Grab. It's down 2%. Is what it is. Grab has been flat for the past couple of weeks right now, but I think it is doing well, at least above that 470, 480 range. SoFi right here, 2616. Looks like that's going to close above 5%. Apple down on the day. Again, another thinly traded day in August. I mean, the S&P 500 volume is minuscule. Opendoor is shying in 800 million shares and traded. S&P is barely 45 million. Usual volume is around 70 million. So, I mean, you do have kind of that seasonal weakness in terms of actual trading activity outside of Opendoor, but it doesn't seem like it's that aggressive of a day for Monday, August 25th. Wow, Opendoor 10% down right as we get into the close. Dude, there's a lot of people that probably bought this thing running up to 560, 570, 550, 530 on the day. I had FOMO too. I'm not going to lie. I had some FOMO. I didn't buy it though, because I talked to some very smart people over the weekend in Miami. Let me just say that. And I asked them specifically about Opendoor. And I'll let you know what they had to say, but they said they wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. But it could still run because like people are interested in it, right? So like that could happen. But yeah, I have not gambled in Opendoor yet. All right, folks. Thank you everybody for being here. It is Monday, August 25th. We are going to recap everything we did in Miami. The stock market is now closed. Did I say 10-foot pole? I meant 10-foot pole, bro. I'm back in my element, bro. I'm back in my element. I'm back in Jersey, back with my bricks. So your boy's not going to be able to speak. There you go. Your boy's not going to be able to speak. All right, there you go. Market is closed. Opendoor ends down 10% on the day. S&P flat 0.5% on the day. Meta down about 0.2. Hoodie down 1.2. Hood was almost 110 at one point, down to 107. This one's been toying around in that range. Reddit was up about 1% of the day. Tessie 346, not too bad, up 1.94%. Nebius, that was up 1.5. Rock Lab, great day. That's up 6.4. Amazon down 0.39. CoreWeave down 1.7. UNH 304, that was flat on the day. Palantir 157, that was down at 149 at one point, did a bit of a V shape. That's down 1% of the day. Amazon right here down 0.39. D-Wave, that was down about 3. The Q's down about 0.29. And then Nvidia did try to break 181, ended at 179.81. Not too bad for Nvidia. They have earnings on Wednesday. I will be live with Tanner and Jose on earnings. That'll be a big one, and we'll talk more about that. So Wednesday, probably 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll start our coverage, but that will obviously be a very big market moving event. Implied volatility is 6%, so which is the lowest implied volatility on Nvidia over the past couple quarters, but still, Nvidia's got to put up a good quarter to kind of hold up this market. All right, that's what we got. That's what we got on this market close. Yeah, pretty much an end of day sell-off, right? But the beginning of day kind of pump wasn't, I don't know, it didn't feel that real either. There wasn't a lot of volume. There was some action here and there. When Hood got to 110, I was like, it's probably not going to hold it. It didn't hold it. Opendoor got to 580. I was like, it's either going to 6 or right back down below 5. It ended up going below 5. It could go back to 6 tomorrow, So I think the market's waiting on Nvidia earnings even after we got the Powell pivot. And Wednesday will be a deciding factor for a lot of parts of the market. S&P 500 right here down about 0.43% on the day. All right, cool. So having said that, let's talk about Miami. As you can see, Gustavo, my guy, he got me a nice little hat that I'm wearing today, repping the Miami colors, and very excited. Very, very excited to kind of get into the recap and talk more about it. Got a lot of gifts right here that I'm going to be showing. See a lot of you guys in the chat. We got Desi right here. We got Batty right here. We got Uzi. Yeah, ETH was down 8% on the day. That's why the treasuries kind of got hit. We got Tess, Chels, a bunch of you guys from the meetup that were in the chat. And I'm very, very happy that I got to meet everybody. So chat says, how was Applebee's today? Bro, chat said I didn't make the morning show because I went to Applebee's. He has something against Applebee's. It's such a family-oriented establishment. I don't know why he's so mad at it. There you go. There's his like 7th ratio of the past 2 weeks on my tweet. So, all right, so let's get into it. First of all, I just want to start off by saying incredibly grateful to everybody who showed up. It was a hell of an experience. I mean, these meetups, I've done them. This is my 5th one. So the first meetup we did back in New York, it was one of those things where it's like, wow, people actually took time out of their day, came to the meetup, and told me their stories about how much they care about the content and how much they've gotten value from it and how much they deeply appreciate me being part of their routine. And every single meetup since then, the same feeling when people come up to you and explain how much you mean to them in their lives. It's like, it never gets old because it's like, those are real human beings. You're putting a human face to the numbers on the screen that actually care about the content, that actually care about what you're doing. And so it is very humbling. It is very fulfilling, to say the least. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, you guys know a lot of my story. In fact, I might as well just play this video because this moment did happen as well. And it was pretty surreal when this happened. But when we were taking a group picture, this moment ended up taking place. And I think this kind of quantifies how the experience was in Miami. And I cannot be more thankful to everyone who showed up. Let me just say one thing. You guys know, a lot of you guys know my story. I was 11 years old when Michael Jackson died. He inspired me. I said, hey, I want to be the next king of pop. I tried to sing and dance, that shit didn't work. But the amount of times I imagined myself in front of an audience of people that care, love, and respect each other for the same purpose has been my whole life. And the fact that it's happening and you all made my fucking dreams come That moment was kind of surreal, bro. That like standing in front of an audience, like that wasn't supposed to happen. We just like needed to take the group picture. This was one part of the bar. There was another part of the bar, but the photographer needed everyone in one place. And then, so we took the picture, then I turned around and everyone was like, speech, speech, speech. And I was like, oh shit. And like, legitimately, it was like, it was the dream I've always wanted of being like a rock star and having an audience there that cared about whatever I created. The difference here is that, a rock star makes music and the audience consumes the music. Here, Amit, the financial content creator, creates content, and all of us as a community participate in the upside of that content. Whereas, an artist makes music and they get rich. As a community, we make content together, because a lot of my content is crowdsourced due diligence from all you guys, and we all get rich together. And so it was just unbelievably like surreal to see everyone there and be in front of a crowd like that. Like, I'm in front of a crowd every single day, right? And like there's thousands of people watching, but like that real moment, it was one of those things where like I stopped myself from crying when I was on stage, but I've been dreaming of that for years. And for everyone who showed up, like, you made those dreams come true. You got one chance to try to live your dream. From the bottom of my heart, I cannot explain how grateful I am that you guys helped me live it. That we're all getting rich along the way. It was really wild, dude. It was really wild. It was I don't even know if it really hit me yet, but just seeing that happen, it was special. It was very, very, very special. And it wouldn't have happened if people didn't show up and find value in the content. It wouldn't have happened if Palantir and Robinhood in particular did not do what they did over the past couple of years. Like, this was not a me thing. This is me as a messenger and me being consistent with content creation and me like really being passionate for what I do. But a lot of it was the community putting in the effort to help me get to this point. A lot of it was those two companies that I'm not building, executing, and me just being able to communicate about those companies, allowing all of us to share in the upside. And so all of us together being able to be there, it was just really special. It was really, really, really special. So that was the first part. That was the first part of the meetup. We got to take a bunch of pictures. I'm going to get the professional pictures soon, probably hopefully by tomorrow, and I'll be able to share the Google Drive so anyone will be able to see it. But yeah, I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up and allowed me to live that moment. I mean, I get to live my dream every single day, being in front of an audience, right? And being able to communicate. But like, and I've said this many times for those that have been watching the channel for a long time, there's a difference between speaking in front of a camera and then, speaking to an audience, but there's not like any humans like physically there, versus being in person and like speaking to an audience, something that I've always dreamed of. I mean, like, one of the things I've always dreamed of as well is being this like public speaker that tours the world and can fill out arenas and stadiums. And when I realized I couldn't sing like Michael Jackson, I was like, well, what if I can speak? It ended up turning into this YouTube career. And like, who knows, maybe in the future there will be more of these events and venues where you're actually in front of a physical audience, which to me, the dopamine of that and just the adrenaline of that is something I've dreamed of since I was literally 11 years old. And in Miami, I got a chance to really experience that for the first time ever. And because it was with people that also really cared about each other, like if you took the time out of your life to come to that meetup and be there together with everyone else, the vibes, the energy, the excitement, all of that was just one of the most exciting things ever. And we all got to experience it. It was a family. It really, really, really did feel like a family. Chat says this is only possible because you don't grift. A lot of you guys, I'm going to talk about some takeaways I got from asking everyone questions about, why they consume the content. Because I did say I would be asking people a lot of questions. One of the takeaways was, you don't grift, right? Like a decent amount of you came up to me and said, dude, like, we watch because you're not doing what we've been used to from people in the space, which is just trying to get as much money as you can out of us. And like that experience last night, that video, the stories that I have from listening to people's perspectives. There was a woman, Kat. She flew from Sweden to be at this meetup because of how much she values this community. Like that's not worth anything. It's priceless. There's not a dollar amount you can put to that. And so that's why it was very, very exciting to be here. Mick cried last night. I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I was on the airplane thinking, when I was on the flight thinking of all this stuff, I might have shed a couple of tears, but it's humbling because you only get one life, and the fact that we got to experience that last night, and hopefully we'll get to keep experiencing it in the future. It is very humbling. So There you go. That was the first part of this. All right, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We got a lot of these gifts to show. Let's deal with the mystery person who was rumored to be like the guy who wanted to get a coffee with me. Why is Ethereum tanking, bro? ETH below 4,400. All you're doing is giving Tom Lee cheaper ETH to buy. So to me, I'm like, all right, dude. Every time I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna buy more BMNR. I bought 100 shares today. I'm going to try to get this to 1,000 shares and just build out a full position. Speaking of Tom Lee real quick, before we talk about the mystery man. Okay, so let me address this real quick. So Derek shared a video, and we'll talk about the experience of living with Derek and like being around Miami. So we'll talk about that as well. And this video, well, I'll just play the video. The meme of this chat, which I don't even know how it started. Admit it's your birthday. Happy birthday. I don't know where this meme even comes from. There's no logic, but it's the most absurd thing ever. Made it to the real life in Miami for the meetup. So that's great, right? That's fun. That's awesome. Like, it's an inside joke with the whole community that we say it's Amit's birthday every day. Tom Lee ends up seeing the video and he's like, Amit, I heard it's your birthday. Happy birthday. And I'm sitting with Derek on the couch and I'm like, Derek, your video got to Tom Lee. And he's like, what do you say? I was like, he just publicly wished me happy birthday to his like 480,000 followers. And he's like, bro, it's your birthday now. I'm like, dude, do I have to embrace it? He's like, you're going to correct Tom mother effing Lee. I'm like, I'm not going to correct Tom mother effing Lee. So I was like, thank you, Tom. Really appreciate it. Excited to talk this week on the show. The amount of messages I got from all these people saying, bro, it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Oh my goodness, it's your birthday. No, it's not my birthday. It was funny though, because some of my like good friends like reached out and it's like, it tells you like no one actually knows their friend's birthday. Like Iliano, he did this whole post, Amid, I love you. It's your birthday. I'm like, bro, I was so mad. I was like, I thought we were best friends, bro. You don't know my birthday? Like, it was hilarious. I don't know half my friends' birthdays either, but yeah. So I couldn't correct him, bro. I couldn't correct him. So it's going to be kind of awkward in October if he sees happy birthday wishes and we'll see what he says then. But like, I could not, what am I supposed to say? Oh, hey, Mr. Goat that predicted the PAL pivot perfectly. Yeah, you're wrong about my birthday. Like, no, bro, I'm not saying that. Get out of here. I'd rather have it be my birthday every day versus correct Mr. Tom Lee on that. So yeah, it was not my birthday, but I appreciate everyone who reached out. Why is Bitcoin below 110,000, dude? Robin is sending all these notifications. Who's dumping crypto here? Bitcoin, I actually understand. Dude, I want to sell my Misty to get BMNR. I'm kind of becoming a little bit of a ETH boy now. So I don't know, but we got Bitcoin getting a little bit of weakness right here. But anyway, yeah, so I couldn't correct Mr. Tom Lee. So technically it's my birthday. All right. So who was the Mr. guy that I was teasing? A lot of you guys got it. Derek ended up saying his name like towards the end of the live stream, and you guys probably heard him. Some of you guys didn't, but yeah, it was my boy Jay Kush. It was my boy Jay Kush. So got to have a nice little 50-minute coffee with President Trump's son-in-law. This was cool, bro. Not going to lie. This was pretty cool. I think a lot of you guys guessed who it was. I said he was tall. He's part of the White House. He's in finance, investing. Ended up being Jared Kushner. Now, did we organize the outfits? No. I promise we did not organize outfits. I don't know how this ended up happening. It was very, very random. But it ended up happening. So what happened is Jay Kush, my boy Jay Kush. By the way, he loved that caption. He loved that. Dude, he is such a Chad. He's so chill. Like at the end, I was like, yo, can we take a picture for me to post? He's like, yeah, sure, let's take a picture. And then we take the picture. And I was like, so I have a caption idea for this picture. I don't know if you'll approve of it, but he's like, what's the caption? And then I say, what the caption is, as shared, if I could save his name in my phone, is Jay Kush. And he said, no, he started dying, bro. He started laughing so hard. Jay Kush is not VVV. VVV, guys, is Vlad, Derek's business partner, Vlad. We already discussed that 3 years ago. It's not Vlad from Robinhood. It is another person named Vlad who I had lunch with a couple days ago. I think I told you guys about that lunch, but we'll talk more about it later. But yeah, it's one of Derek's business partner. Jay Cush is just the guy who bought Palantir at 30 from my tweets, and it ended up doing well, and he wanted to meet with me. So yes, I know what Cush is. That's the context of the joke, bro. Because like Jay Cush, like I thought it was kind of funny. Like this is some very elite financial figure, and you're like, hey, like what if I make your name Jay Cush in my phone? Obviously, we all know what Cush is, and if you don't know what it is, then you can Google it. And so he started laughing at it, dude. He had no problem with it. It was just super funny. And so I posted it. So what was the context of the meeting? Dude, honestly, I thought he wanted something from me. I thought he wanted to like, I don't know, get my thoughts on some stock or some crypto coin. It's like, I had no idea. The guy's worth $8 billion. Okay. At least that's what Forbes says. He's worth $8 billion. So I was as dumbfounded as you guys were. Like, yes, I understand he put some money in Palantir and he made some money off of it, but like that, you know, he didn't make $8 billion off of it, you know? So I was like, why do you want to meet me? And, the context of the meeting was like very simple. He was just like, I follow your tweets online and I'm just really curious about like what's going on in the world of not only retail investors, but also trying to understand how people are picking stocks. He's not a stock picker. He's majority in ETFs, treasuries and bonds. And I asked him, like, you know, do you own individual stocks? He's like, very rare positions in certain private startups. And so like, he's not out there going and buying Google and buying Nvda. He's honestly, dude, he's a value investor. He's not a growth investor. He's like a super fan of Charlie Munger is what I found out. Ivanka was not part of the meeting, but she did call in the middle of it. She's like, honey, when are you coming home? He's like, babe, I'm in a meeting right now. Give me 20 minutes. It was hilarious. But I was like, what is my life, bro? What, like President Trump's daughter just called her husband in the middle of a meeting. It was actually ridiculous, but I tried to keep my cool. I was like, oh, how's Ivanka? She's like, she's good, taking care of the kids. I was like, oh, awesome. That's great. That's cool. But yeah, he just wanted to know about what's going on with like people and their methodology for finding stocks. And it's ironic because like he doesn't pick individual stocks. His firm, they manage like $4 billion in capital. They invest in real estate and they invest in late stage growth investing. They're not investing in Google, Nvidia, Amazon, Lemonade, Rocket Lab, Robinhood. Like first of all, he is not that type of investor. Second of all, they're not going to allocate the money they raise from high net worth individuals into these types of stocks. So when I mean it was just a normal conversation, I wish there was more to tell you guys. It legitimately was a normal conversation. I know a lot of people think, oh, his brother is part of Oscar. So, you know, maybe he wanted to, you know, talk to me more about Oscar. He didn't even bring it up. I'm the one towards the end of the meeting that had to bring up. I was like, oh yeah, your brother's on the board of Oscar. Oscar's been gaining some retail attention. And then he just was like, yeah. And then he brushed it off. He didn't even like talk about Oscar as like a company to just like, we talked about Oscar for 2 seconds and the 2 seconds was me bringing it up when he talked about these retail communities forming online. I was like, yeah, Oscar, your brother's company has started to form a retail community as well. And he was like, yeah, they're doing great due diligence. And that was it. And so I'm like, I was just left with like, and so I asked him at the end of the meeting, I was like, well, like, why did you want to meet? And he was like, well, you know, I take meetings with a lot of people that don't make me money. I wanted to take a meeting with someone who made me a lot of money and just get to know you. And I was like, okay, there you go. So who knows, man? Maybe in the future something happens. Maybe he wants to collaborate. You know, a lot of things about these like high net worth individuals is they are very good at creating strategic alliances. And strategic alliances are when you develop a relationship. Network is a you know, a less of a fancy term than strategic alliance, but you got to network with people, right? And who knows, maybe in the future, there's a possibility to collaborate to meet. I take a lot of I'm taking a meeting tomorrow at 12 p.m. I don't even know why I'm taking this meeting, but someone who knows someone told me to really take the meeting. So I'm taking the meeting and who knows, maybe it'll become something. And so I think he just wanted to take the meeting to get to know me and maybe in the future something develops, but he actually really he doesn't know we do a show. He doesn't know there's 8,000 people every morning listening to a market open. He was actually confused. He was like, you do a show every morning for 3 hours? He's like, why? I was like, well, it's kind of like CNBC for people. It's a different modern version. He was like, he's not in that world, but he's on Twitter and he's heavily like inside of the Twitter finance world, like trying to understand what people are doing in Twitter finance, but he has no time for like listening to, and obviously like the guy is like traveling 24/7. Like this was the one weekend in Miami in like 3 weeks that he had time to be in. And so he had no idea that there's this whole community online, but he was fascinated by it. He was just like, wait, so this is like how people interact with your content and stuff. And I was like, yeah, so that's what it was about. That was the That was the extent of the meeting. Yes, he did have security, but it wasn't that serious. Like, he told me to meet him at a location. I met him at a location. He probably told the front desk, hey, this guy's coming to the location. So I didn't have to get patted down or anything like that. And then there was a coffee shop inside of the location that we sat at. And that was it. And it was about a 50-minute meeting. And it wasn't rushed or anything. Like, the meeting ended in a very, like, all right, we have nothing else to talk about type of, it wasn't like, oh man, I got to go. It's like, no, like, it was just a very, like, we could have gone on for another 10, 20 minutes, but after 50 minutes, like, we both talked a lot about different ideas and perspectives, and we kind of got to say what we wanted to say and really got to listen to like, the first 20 minutes was me talking because he was so curious about my background, and the next 20 minutes was like me listening to his life and what's going on. So I did not ask him about Area 51. No. I did. I wish I could say I asked him about these like very hyper specific questions, but that are like super, like, people want to know about aliens. Or like, we did talk about North Korea though, because his father-in-law, which ironically Trump met with the South Korean president today. One of the things I watched a couple months ago was a documentary on North Korea and Trump like crossing the border and like shaking hands. And I was like, dude, like, what was that like when you were like part of that ecosystem, right? Communicating. And like, he was like, dude, it was crazy. So he was telling me just like how crazy it was from a geopolitical perspective to get Trump to make some of the progress that he made back in the first term. He's not part of the second term. So, he's probably not involved with Trump meeting the South Korean president today. But yeah, outside of that, there's just not anything else that's too crazy we talked about outside of the stock market and like principles on investing. So there you go. That was the extent of the Mr. Person. A lot of you guys guessed it. So a lot of you guys thought PBD or like, I don't know, Rick Ross or whoever, or Pitbull or something. But it was pretty cool. So when I was getting lunch with Derek and Triple V, Vlad, that's when Jay Cush texted me. I'm just going to keep calling him Jay Cush now. That's when he texted me. And I was sitting with him. I was like, guys, he wants to meet tomorrow. And they're like, all right, go take the meeting. So it was pretty fun. I took Derek's Tesla Model S Plaid, which I did get to drive for the first time. I drove his Cybertruck all weekend, and I drove the Model S Plaid. Dude, that thing is like the fastest car in the history of cars. I mean, like, I don't know if a Lambo or a Ferrari really can go that faster. Like, it was 0 to 60 within like 1.7 seconds. And so Derek was like, yeah, just go take the car and go meet up with him. So I pulled up to Jay Cush's spot in the Model Plaid. Like, it was a cool experience. It was just a cool experience. And then I just met with him for an hour, and then I came back. So there you go. That was it. That was the extent of that meeting. Again, VVV is Derek's business partner, Vlad. It's not a secret anymore. He doesn't care about it being a secret. It was just like a fun meme that we were running with. But I told you guys a while ago it's Derek's business partner, but now you guys know his name is Vlad. So that is who he is. And he's done very well for himself. And he's learned covered calls this year as well. So he's made a lot of money off covered calls. Like, he's an investor, but he's also a business operator. And he enjoys being part of the chat. So that's why he's here sending the super chats. Okay, cool. So that's what we had around Jay Cush. What's the next thing to talk about? Oh, Derek. Okay, so living with Derek. So I'll talk about that for like 5 minutes, and then we'll get into all the gifts, and I'll show you guys all this stuff. we won't believe you unless Jay Cush gives a super chat. Who knows? Maybe one day he'll do it. Oh, thank you for the $200. It was a great event. Thank you. Oh, thank you for being here. I got to meet O in person at the event. I got to meet so many of you guys, and I was like, dude, you keep throwing this $100 super chat about MicroStrategy. He's like, yeah, because I like MicroStrategy. So thank you, O, for the super chat. Dougie, shout out to Doug for the gifted 20. I will talk more about my moderators later as well. There's a bunch of mods in the chat that a lot of you guys probably know. Doug, Austin, Tess, Benny. There's so many of them. They got to show up at the dinner before the meetup, and I'll show you guys some pictures of that as well. And I took them out to dinner in a nice rooftop bar in Miami. And so that was also super awesome. And Doug, well, let me just show you Doug's picture real quick. I mean, he is really trying to get this Robinhood Gold card. And he tagged Vlad in this. I hope Vlad saw it, because we know Vlad can give out these gold cards to anyone he wants to. So maybe Vlad actually sees this picture and, gets Dougie this damn gold card. Look at this. Look at his shoes, bro. This is crazy. This guy had the best outfit of the entire night. Absolutely crazy. So shout out to Dougie, and thank you for for the gifted memberships as well. Okay, so Derek, look, let me just acknowledge the elephant in the room. I know a lot of people think it's weird that a 28-year-old guy, in 2 months I'll be 28 years old, is staying with some 55-year-old guy. I saw the Grinder comments, all the Grinder jokes. I get it. Genuinely, and you can either believe me or you don't want to believe me with this, but Derek is one of the most nicest people on the planet. He's one of the most humble people on the planet, and he is someone who actually cares about humanity. And I know the optics of it look weird, but at the end of the day, it's a mentor-mentee relationship for someone who, quite frankly, acknowledges his mortality many times, right? Derek has had some health issues in the past. I'm not going to bring up some of his stuff, but he's very wealthy. He's had a very successful life. And I think when you get to that age and you have that much wealth, you also get to the point where you're like, what impact am I leaving on the world? What impact am I leaving on the world? Chat says, is that even a thought in some people? Yeah, unfortunately, bro. Unfortunately, this is what I see in the comments, and I'm like, it's annoying that I even have to address it and bring it up, but I wish that didn't have to be the case. But the point is, look, when you get extremely wealthy and you have a successful life, there's also a part of you that wants to give back to the world and wants to actually have a legacy. AKA, you want someone at your funeral to be able to stand up and talk about who you were as a person. And I just can't say enough good words about who he is. I mean, he let me into his home for 4 days, and we've been talking for the past almost 2 years at this point on the phone, right? So we have a very good relationship just talking on the phone. Again, Derek is the person who got me into Figure, which was the private investment, one of the private investments that has changed my life from a financial perspective as well. That stock has 20x, or that private startup has 20x for me. And the reason he wanted me to get into Figure is because he owned like 20 million shares of Palantir because of watching my videos. He ended up selling it way too early, and he acknowledges every day how annoyed he is about that. But he owned a lot of Palantir, and he used a lot of my videos as conviction to gain an understanding of Palantir. He saw me when I barely even knew what a market cap was, right? So when he reached out in February of 2024, it was just like, hey, I see you have a lot of potential. I've been watching your videos. I learned about Palantir from you. And I don't know, I want to give you some opportunities in life. I want to pay it forward by transferring some of the knowledge, wisdom, and opportunities that I have into someone who, from his perspective, did it the right way, got to prominence, got to some level of attention in the right way, which is by not grifting, by not selling courses, all that stuff, right? And so that was the essence of the relationship. It just turned out we ended up really vibing just as being good friends, And I think part of the reason is because as a mentor, you want someone who's coachable, who's willing to soak up knowledge and listen to you. And as someone who's willing to be mentored, which I didn't sign up to become mentored. It kind of just organically happens when you find someone who you can relate to, because you can, soak up information from them. I realized, dude, this guy has a lot of information, and I asked him questions. So we'd be on the phone and I'd be like, hey, so what happened in 1999 when you first sold your company and blah, blah, blah. And he would get into a story, and I would just be soaking up the information and caring so deeply about it that it turned into a relationship where I was very curious and he was very willing to tell me. And I think for the people that met Derek at the meetup, you can put in the chat, because this guy was the life of the party. Him and Matt Money were the life of the party. Derek is divorced. He had 2 wives, but he's divorced now. For those people that that were there and got to meet him, you could tell his energy. And if you're in the chat and you met him, I mean, you can put it, you can explain how it was. This guy had like 20 people around him the whole time. And he was just constantly talking to people here and there and like sharing his perspectives on life. And a lot of you guys wanted to ask him questions about investing because you've heard about him on the channel. And so you can tell, for those that were there, how charismatic he is, how much aura, as the kids say, he has. Yeah, Jeremy sat down with Derek and talked to him for like 2 hours. Got to pitch him an idea, got to get some feedback on his idea. Again, Derek's invested in like hundreds of startups throughout the past like 15 years. So he knows a lot about hearing an idea and the potential of it. And so I think people felt his energy and his excitement. And so the sort of main takeaway from this is that Derek is very wealthy and very successful. So he lives in a part of Miami that's also for people that are very wealthy and successful. AKA, we go downstairs, there's a private restaurant, there's a private pool, there's a private gym, and this part, which I didn't even know this existed, there's a freaking private beach. I didn't know people had private beaches, but there's a private beach. And so and there's, constant valet, and there's these supercars. And so it was one of those and then obviously you guys saw the view from his balcony, which I posted on Twitter. It's like, it was a very luxurious experience. You don't really get that at an Airbnb unless you're paying like $5,000 a night or something. And that I got to experience it. Having said all that, in the midst of all of the luxury that he lives in because of his success and his wealth, everyone at that apartment complex loves him. Like, when I mean loves him, I mean loves him. Like, you talk about anywhere he goes, they're saying hello, they're saying hi, he's talking to people, he's laughing with them, he's treating people like they're actual human beings, not like they're just workers at the apartment complex. We went to Starbucks pretty much every single day. The Starbucks baristas love him because he's a real human being. Like, he actually, like, they have real conversations. And so what I got from that is kind of what validated the reason why I became friends with him a year and a half ago. Because, dude, if this was a rich guy who was just a dick and he was just like, you know, one of these guys that's like flaunting his money back and forth. As you can see, Derek doesn't wear a watch. Like, you know, like he's not trying to flaunt his wealth because he doesn't need to flaunt his wealth. And he's not treating other people like shit because he's wealthier than them, which is what most wealthy people end up doing because it just gets to their head and they see other people as subhuman compared to them. That's the reason we had a relationship in the first place. And I got to experience other people feeling his presence and his energy as a good human being. Because I was just as confused a year ago as you guys were, which is why, like, why is this guy giving me an opportunity to invest in a startup that could become $1 trillion startup at a $2 billion valuation? And I know it's weird, right? Because then your mind starts racing of like, what's his hidden intention? What's his motive? Like, what? And I'm here to say it's because he's a good human being. And it's hard to believe that because there's not that many good human beings that are authentic on this planet, but he's one of them. And so him letting me into his home, getting to experience the exciting parts of Miami in a very luxurious way, but also realizing how much people love him because of how humble he is it was just one of the most exciting experiences. So very, 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 very grateful to Derek and getting to spend time with him. And for those that got to see him in the meetup himself, I think a lot of you guys enjoyed getting to talk to him and just, you know, feeling his energy at the meetup as well. Damashi, thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. I think you were at the meetup as well, Damashi. So shout out to Damashi being at the meetup, and thank you for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you all for being here as well. Mike, shout out to you. He was at the meetup as well. Amit, thank you. It was great to meet you and everyone at the Miami event. Thanks for making a meaningful impact on all of us. Hope you got some great Cuban coffee on your visit. I did have some coffee outside of just the Starbucks coffee, and it was great. I also have some Cuban cigars that someone gave me. I'll show you guys that when I show you the gifts. But Mike, thank you for being there, and thank you for being part of the meetup. And then Adam, thank you for the $50 super chat. Shout out to the whole community. Dougie is a pimp. I loved meeting everyone. You are all truly amazing community. Derek is cool people, extremely down to earth. Adam and Derek and I did get dinner, I think on like Saturday night or Friday night. So we all got to enjoy dinner together. And shout out to Adam, dude. Adam was at the first meetup in New York City, and he came to the biggest meetup since New York City. Like, he saw this thing happening. And I remember at the New York meetup, he pulled me over and he was like, dude, this is like, you've created something that's going to be pretty big in the future. There's Adam right there. There's my boy. And 8 months later, you know, it turned into the Miami meetup. So I'm just very, very grateful that Adam's been at these meetups, and hopefully he's at every single meetup we do. But it's just very reassuring when you look over in the chaos that is a meetup, and then you see someone who you know you can trust and you know is holding it down and entertaining people and keeping an audience. And Adam's over here talking about how you can, you know, make 2% a month selling covered calls to like 50 people. Like, it was just really cool. It was really, really cool, and it was awesome to be there as well. Bitcoin just lost 110K. Of course. Why not? Why not? Why are they selling off crypto, bro? Why are they There you go. Bitcoin 109, Ethereum 4,300. I don't know about Bitcoin, but you're giving the ETH treasuries a lot cheaper ETH to buy. So there you go. Bitcoin 109.5 and Ethereum 4,300. Okay, cool. So we talked about Jay Kush. That was the mystery person that I met, Jared Kushner. We talked about Derek. What else did we talk about? We talked about the overall experience. I showed you guys some of the videos. We talked about Tom Lee. I think we'll get into gifts. And I'll show you guys what gifts people brought up. Well, let me address this real quick. When are we doing a UK meetup? So let me just take 2 minutes on this. One thing that Miami showed me, and this is what I was talking about with the mods that were there as well, that really helped me kind of like just, keep everything intact, is that these meetups are taking on a life of their own. So remember, when I started the meetups back in January, it was a very simple idea. It was, hey, like there's a lot of people watching. What if I go to a couple cities and I see some people and, 50 of us can be at a bar and just talk and network. And the New York meetup was the first manifestation of that. And literally there were 50 people. And I think at max it was like 60 at one point, but it was 50 to 60 people. And it was a great time. And then California, there was like 70, and then Toronto, or there was like 150, but it was, people were coming and going. It wasn't 150 all at once. Then at Boston, it was like 45, 50. This one was like 300. And so the issue now with doing meetups is that I think it's getting to a point where I need a team to help the logistics of managing a meetup. I need a infrastructure to make sure that there is the ability to get the info. Like there were some people that messaged me on Friday night. They're like, yo, what's the location? I'm like, how did you not get the location? It's Friday night, so it's like, and that was probably my fault that I missed their email or something, because I was just like, there were so many people to message and email. And so that can't happen again, right? Like we need to make sure there's a lot of logistics to be able to make this happen. And then the final thing that I'm starting to think about a lot more is security. So we had no security issues at this event. We have not had a single security issue for the past 5 events. But as they're growing, right? Like at its core, security is something that needs to be in place, because you just never know, right? You never want to take the risk. And so I think I've gotten lucky 5 times with not really having a major emphasis on security, but I don't want to leave it up to luck, and I don't want to leave it up to chance. And so what I will say right now, just flat out, is like, I don't know when the next meetup is. I don't know when we're going to do it. I don't know if we're doing New York. I don't know if we're doing London. I don't know if we're doing Vegas. I need to really get my shit together and figure out how to build a team of people that can implement a ecosystem and infrastructure, can get the right venues, can work with the right security teams in those venues, which means I'm going to have to put up more money to do this. Like that's also inevitable. And I'm willing to do that, but I've got to figure that shit out, because I do not want to leave it to chance and then something goes wrong. And so far nothing's gone wrong, because most people are normal people, but then you just never know, right? Like you just never know, anything could happen. And I don't want to leave it to chance. So yeah, the next couple months, I'm going to be focused on that, which means we're not going to do meetups for the next couple months, because I cannot have that on my conscience, imagining something happens without taking the right precautions. So I think meetups will resume hopefully by end of year, if not early next year, but there's just no way I could do a meetup. If this one was 300, what happens if the UK, there's like 500 people? Like, dude, 500 people, there's a lot of stuff you have to manage there, right? If there's 5, and there's a lot of you, I think UK is the 3rd watched country on this channel after United States and Canada. So put Steve at the entrance door. That might be enough. Sounds like someone acted up. No one acted up at all. It was it was a great event. There was no issues at all. You can ask anyone who was at the event and they will vouch for that. I just felt overwhelmed because when I got home, I was like, dude, I can't believe I pulled that off and nothing went wrong. It was more so a feeling of like, Amit, like you keep doing this, without paying attention to a security, you keep getting lucky. One day you can't keep doing this and expect that if you have 1,000 people or something, which I don't know if it'll ever get that big, then nothing would go wrong, So, and also people are drinking, you end up, some people, like nothing happened at this event, but in the future, like in Vegas, I'm like, well, what if Vegas is when everyone gets wasted? So what happens if someone gets super wasted and something happens? And let's say just someone like is so drunk, they need an ambulance to come get them, right? Like I have to be responsible for that if it's my meetup. So like, there's all these questions I'm thinking about now as it gets bigger from 50 people to eventually 500 people that will require a lot more planning on my part. But the experience of these meetups is so humbling and gratifying, and so, so important for all of us to do as a community, that I'm willing to put in that work, but it's going to take some time. It's definitely going to take some time to make this happen. So that is just a statement on kind of the future of these meetups. Just don't invite the guy pumping open. Dude, this guy, Eric Jackson, has figured out how to get people to care about Open. I just don't know if he's going to get enough people to continue caring about Opendoor. Because again, I told you guys, I talked to some very smart people in Miami, and I asked, what do you think about Opendoor? And they're like, why would I touch that pile of shit? And one person told me, oh, are they going to use AI to paint their homes faster? They were laughing. There's a very rich person. He was just like, dude, this is all pump and dump. This is all hype. There is nothing real here. And look, maybe there is something real. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there is going to be something real. But real quick on Opendoor, just my quick thoughts. If you're buying Opendoor, I think you're gambling. I don't think there's anything real. And to be honest, I might buy 1,000 shares of Opendoor for the hell of the gamble, but I'm buying it at whatever price I buy it at. I haven't bought Opendoor, but if I do in the future, I will be very comfortable losing whatever money I put into it, because I really don't think there's anything serious here at all outside of the hype. You got freaking discords in China with like 2,000 people that are pumping Opendoor that Eric Jackson is tweeting the Discord link to. I mean, you're getting it to get to such a point that people are buying it for the hell of buying it because it's become a meme and people want to participate in the meme, which is fine. But I don't see the business argument here at all. I really don't. And if I do, then maybe we'll take a deeper look at it, but I don't right now. So yeah, my thoughts on Opendoor is if you're buying it, you're gambling, which is fine. You know, you can do a gamble. It's just, is it worth $1 million gamble? I don't know. Is it worth a $5,000 gamble? Maybe. But yeah, to me, dude, there's good gains year to date. I just don't want to take the risk with Opendoor. I really don't. I'd rather try to keep these gains versus deal with the FOMO of it going higher. But look, if this thing goes to 7, 8, 9, 10, there will be intense FOMO. And again, I will just say this one last thing on this. I really think a lot of the volume on Opendoor is happening on Hood, dude. Like 800 million shares in volume. Let's see the options today. Today, this thing was traded number 1, number 2. Tesla was the first at 1.97 million. Opendoor was number 2 at 1.969 million. 1.36 million calls were bought. 603,000 puts were bought. So there's a 0.44 volume put to call ratio on the volume for people that are buying calls versus buying puts. I mean, I think a lot of that's happening on Robinhood. And I think this one stock in and of itself is going to be very bullish for Q3 volumes. So playing the picks and shovels to me is not the worst idea here. Okay, cool. So gifts, let's get into it. First off, before I show these gifts, 2 things. Number 1, incredibly grateful for people who got these gifts. I got everything to be in my bag when I took it back to Jersey, so had no issues. No people at TSA taking away my gavels. And so we got all the gifts home. The second thing is I might not say your name when I introduce the gift. That's not because I don't have your name. It's just whatever card you gave me or something. There's just like a lot of stuff here, and I probably don't have it with me at this moment. Some of you guys that gave a gift, I will remember, but deeply, deeply grateful to everyone who brought a gift. And yeah, there's just a lot of cool stuff that I want to show you. So let's start off with this. This was pretty cool. This thing was absolutely awesome. And I think it's something that we talked about on the channel a while ago, and someone made it happen in person. Shout out to Eric. Take a look at this. We got a Palantir jersey. Remember I was talking about sports jerseys, which I still think is a really big business. If anyone wants to steal that idea, I don't think you can get copyrighted as long as you don't use the logo. But if you like I don't think Palantir is going to sue you if you write the name Palantir right here and sell this, or Robinhood or Tesla or something. Now, if you use the logo, you might get sued, so you can't use the logo. But he used the logo here, and this is awesome. This is so awesome. I really think like stock jerseys are a business waiting to happen. And I think a lot of people would rep their favorite companies. And if you don't use the logo, like I don't think you could get sued, to be honest. But this was super dope. So shout out to Eric for getting me this. This is awesome. I actually don't know why he picked number 3. I didn't get a chance to ask him that. I'm going to message him and ask why number 3. Honestly, I don't know. There's got to be some meaning behind why he picked 3. But I'll ask him it. This was awesome. This is cool. So I will be wearing this over a hoodie. That's correct. I will be wearing this over a hoodie in the future. And so you guys will be able to see it. Also, for everyone who got a little bell, hopefully you guys got to take the little bells. We had like 200 little bells on the piano at the bar. And for those that got a little bell, you'll have to ring it with me every single morning in the market open. Oh yeah, 2003. That's correct. 2003. That's right. That's probably why. I'm pretty sure that's why. Yeah, because usually like established 03. Yeah, there you go. All right. Which makes sense, because like what number could you put on the back of the jersey that represents like you could put 120, but like it's the stock is worth 150 now, right? So like you could put 70, but like the stock's above 70. So all those milestones that we wanted to reach as a community, we've kind of gone above them. So I think the establishment year probably is the best way to do it. So shout out to Eric. That was awesome. And deeply, deeply appreciate that gift as well. Okay, now this one was super cool by my boy Frederico. He built this in like a day, bro. Look at this. This is $1 in the shape of a Robinhood logo. This guy does like origami. Like, this is wild, bro. The camera's not, it's a little bit of a glare, but this is a Robinhood logo. You can see it better there. Yeah, you can see better there with $1. And he built it. It's just so awesome, bro. Some of you guys love Palantir, some of you guys love Robinhood, but like these companies have just changed people's lives. And so this was super cool. And I'm gonna put this in the back of the studio as well. And I think also this gift is from him, if I'm not wrong. I believe this is from him as well, but these are handmade cigars. He showed me a video of someone making them. And now I'm not a big smoker, like I've had one cigar in my life. But you know, like a good cigar, I'm willing to smoke. And these are handmade cigars. So this was super cool. Super, super, super cool stuff. Hopefully I'll get to smoke one of these with Steve because he knows how to smoke cigars. But yeah, awesome stuff. So thank you, Federico, for that. And thank you for the Robinhood dollar as well. Okay, this, I'm forgetting who gave this to me. I have to check the notes, but this Steve is going to absolutely love. This was crazy. This is a PSA 10 graded card for Palantir. PSA 10 graded card for Palantir. So now Steve's getting into like the card market, investing into the card market. This is a Magic the Gathering Palantir card that is PSA 10 graded. This is wild, bro. I still haven't showed this to Steve, so I have to text this to Steve. But oh, that's Ash. There you go. That's Ash. There you go. There he is in the chat. Ash free right there. So this was just unbelievable, bro. And I just like he handed this to me and I'm like, bro, there's no way you did this. And he was like, yeah. So this was really cool. I'm gonna show it to Steve. I think Steve's gonna get a kick out of it. Steve's really I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna put this in the background forever. And we're just gonna be able to look at it. But I've never had a playing card before, or like a PSA 10 graded card. So Ash, thank you for this, man. This was super awesome. And there you go. Got your 2023 Palantir card, PSA 10 graded. Like, it's like legit. He sent it to PSA to grade this. I was like, whoa. Like, that was, and like, this is the stuff that's humbling, bro. Because when you get this type of stuff and people put this type of work into a gift they give you, it's just like, you know, you want to keep it forever. And you want to make sure that those gifts get a lot of respect. Just giving people the time to think of them. Okay, this one is from my girl Desi. This one was awesome. Okay, you guys ready for this? This is a big one. You guys ready? This has got to come in the background somehow. Did you hear Mr. Wonderful bought a $13 million card? Yes, I didn't watch the CNBC video, but Steve said we should watch it on stream together. I saw the thumbnail, so Steve and I will react to that $13 million card together. All right, so this is from Desi. This is one of the coolest bowls or bowl sculpture that I've ever seen. I mean, this is wild, bro. I didn't plug it in, but this will light up as well. Like, dude, this is crazy, bro. It's like I don't know if this is glass per se. It might be glass. It might be a different thing. I don't think it's as heavy to be glass, but it's a bowl. It's a bowl, so it's a sculpture. So this will be a bowl sculpture that will be in the back of the streams as well, and it'll be lit up. So this is super cool. So shout out to Desi. Thank you for getting me this as well. And she was awesome. She was awesome. She was one of the first people to hit me up in Miami to help with setting up the meetup back in like June. And so she's just been so supportive for the past 2 months to make this happen. And we made it happen. So thank you for this, Desi. This was absolutely incredible. And this was very nice to see. So acrylic, maybe. Yeah, I don't know if it's glass or acrylic, but it doesn't feel like glass. Glass, I think, is a little too intense. Like if I drop this, I don't think it would shatter like a glass would, but very, very, very nice to see. Okay, cool. So that was one thing. All right, the next one's a big one. The next one definitely is going in the background of the new apartment, which is also why I don't want to do a window as the background, because you can't hang this on the window. I have to close my screen to show this to you first because it's going to be really cool. But this is from John and Cher. Okay, so let me close my camera. This is from John and Cher. This thing was absolutely epic. I did not expect it, but here it is. All right, you guys ready? You guys ready? Here we go. Here we go. Dude. This is crazy. Actually insane. It is not another sculpture, even though I couldn't say that word correctly. But this is crazy. It is currently right. Like, this has to go in the background of the freaking streams in the future. So shout out to John and Cher. This was a very, 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 very thoughtful gift. And they were both awesome. So John, they're from Puerto Rico, and they came all the way to Miami for the meetup, originally from California. And this is stuff like, dude, you want to cry when you see something like this, because this currently right now thing is a meme for all of us. By the way, I heard Joseph Carlson said my term on one of his videos the other day. So he's stealing my intellectual property. But I think this became official when I said it at the Robinhood event. And so it ended up taking a life of its own. And it's just so special that they actually did this. So shout out to John and Cher. This was super awesome, super humbling to see a gift like this. And it's definitely going to go in the background of the studio. These two are like they're married, and they watch every stream every day. Like, they fall asleep together with my voice playing in the background. So they have been supporters for a very long time, and they just enjoy the content. They get a lot of value from it. Cher was awesome. I mean, they were both the life of the party. They stayed till like 12 a.m. with everybody, and they were talking to everybody. They were just laughing, enjoying, having fun. So it was awesome, dude. It was super, super, super awesome. And so, yeah, Austin knows they were just so awesome. Yeah, like it's one of those things where it's like you have a couple that actually cares about the content, and they care about the content so much that they listen to it together. You know, it's not like it's, oh, the guy likes the content or the girl likes it. It's like, no, they both consume the content together. And the fact that they were able to show up, and then, you know, you only know the currently right now meme if you're like deep into the channel, right? And so the fact that they're so deep into it that they came up with this, it was awesome. So it was very, 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 very cool to meet them in person and get to see them and get to talk to them as well. Yeah, we might have to trademark this. We might have to trademark this currently right now thing. So it's just different, bro. When you see someone come up with a gift like that, like when I was unboxing, I think there's a video. I'll show you guys the video eventually. But like when I post it, they were like, what do you think it is? I was like, it's probably something about Palantir, something about Hood. I thought it would be some sign that it has to do with Palantir. And then I open it, I'm like, holy crap, dude. This was about me. You know, this was about currently right now. So very, very, very cool. And it was awesome to get that as well. Okay, this is from someone, Palantir license plate. So this will be hung up in the background as well. Very nice to see this one. I will talk about Palantir in relationship to Miami, but there's a lot of people that made a lot of money off Palantir. Like a lot of money off Palantir. So we'll talk about that. But that company has definitely affected people's lives in Miami. And then we got another currently right now memento. So there you go. There's a hat right here, Miami Heat, currently right now. I will definitely be rocking this hat. You got the CRN, so currently right now is becoming a legit thing. These are some of the best gifts ever, dude. These are gifts that I will never forget. I will look back on these gifts 10 years from now and be like, my goodness, like, you know, people took the time out of their life to actually care to give some of these gifts. Okay, so this one is from one of my mods, Mr. I'm Beneficial. This guy has been part of the chat for, I think, almost 2 years now, and he was just the coolest guy to meet in person. You guys probably see him in the chat every single day. Big Hood bull, big Google bull. He likes Sofi. He likes Uber. And this was his gift right here. So it says, greatest of all time, presented to Amit. Currently, right now, you are an inspiration to many. Your impact has changed many lives. Thank you for everything you do. Never stop. From Beneficial. This will be in the background. This will, this is going to just have to be in the background, dude. This is stuff that just means a lot to me. And, you know, you got the currently right now right there. So there's the meme that's part of it. And, you know, he's someone who I think we both found Hood together. I mean, he's not a content creator, but he found Hood around the same time Artie and I found Hood. He joined the channel, and, you know, we both rode that up, and it changed our lives financially as well. So shout out to Benny. You guys will hopefully get to see him at future meetups if you get to be there, because hopefully he'll be part of more meetups as well. But this was an absolutely amazing present, and I will be definitely hung up in the back of the studio. And again, dude, for people that are moderating the chat, just helping to like get rid of spam and stuff, for them to be this involved in the community and care that much about the content and then actually get you a gift to represent that. It's just really special. Really, really special. Bunch of glazers. It is a lot of glazing, but it is the type of glazing that I think actually matters, because I am also glazing the fact that these many people care about my content, like having an odd, like the only reason I'm here is because you guys care, but the only reason you guys care is because I'm here. So there's a very unique relationship where it's like, there's value in the content, but there's only value in the content to me and creating the content because there's people that are there. So I just want to figure out a way that I can keep giving back more and more to the community when I get these types of gifts and these types of messages. And I think the meetups are the best way to do it. That's how everyone gets to like be in person together and share these moments and like make these memories. Now we just got to make it as safe as possible going into the future. And then I think we'll keep doing it from there. Okay, this one, shout out to Jeremy and Christina. Their business is selling Lego. And take a look at this. This is a Lego Formula One. For those that understand the importance of this, you guys will probably maybe see it right here. There is the Palantir logo. There's the Palantir logo. Now, Palantir, I don't think sponsors F1 anymore. But at the time when Palantir was $7, they sponsored F1. And I still think they do work with Ferrari. I just don't know if their like logo is on the cars anymore. But this was super cool because their entire business is Lego. And Jeremy and Christina, I've talked about Jeremy many times on the channel. It was Christina's, like, I think it was a week after her birthday. So she kind of got to use the Miami meetup as a way to celebrate her birthday. Again, Jeremy and Christina both, they had some tough lives in regards to addiction with drugs. And realistically, Palantir was the thing that got them out of that in terms of giving them a framework to understand what does it mean to invest. And then Palantir just ended up being the first stock they invested in. The stock didn't move for 2 years. So it formed a community of like them learning like what it means to invest and what it means to do research on a company. And quite literally, they changed their lives financially. And then they built out this Lego business on the backs of Palantir and on the backs of this whole community. So Amit making grown men cry and get emotional today. Dude, it is emotional. Like, I got emotional as well. It's just very, 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 very humbling, when you recognize how much impact the content has had on people's lives. So shout out to Jeremy and Christina. They actually got to sit and talk with Derek for a long time as well. Derek has had his own issues in the past, not with drugs per se, but with alcohol. And so, he's like, I think at this point, 20 years sober. And so when you go through an addiction and you get off that addiction and you have something that helps you get off that addiction and you change your whole life, it's a whole different world, right? And you only have one life. So very, very, very grateful for Jeremy and Christina. There you go. Jeremy in the chat. Love you, bro. Christina, love you as well. And also, they're just so nice, dude. As soon as you meet them in person, they're just like, they just, you could just sense the energy of them being so excited and happy to meet everybody. And that was the other cool thing about the meetup, dude. Everyone was excited to meet everyone else. There was only one lady who, I believe her name was Tony, which I hope she's watching this. She is a complete social introvert. Like she does not go to meetups and in a room with like 50 people and we have like 300 people. She showed up to the meetup just to say, thank you for the content. I was able to pay off my mortgage because of your content and learning about investing. And, this year I paid off my mortgage and I don't have debt anymore. And so literally that's the only thing she wanted to say to me at the meetup. But she stayed for like 5 hours and was, it was uncomfortable, socially introverted. She has like real social anxiety because she wanted to be part of just like being in the community and having her presence there. So even everyone was so welcoming and ready to talk to each other and have a good time. But even the people that weren't naturally like that, to be extroverted and hang out with people and get a drink, even they showed up because of how much the content meant to them. So deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate all the people that showed up there and actually spent the time to be there. Okay, the next thing. This is from Michelle and Ray, who are also two mods of the channel. I've known these two for the better part of 3 years now. I like to say that they met on my channel and got married, but they didn't. They met in high school, but it's more fun to say they met on my channel and got married. So this is one of the things they got me, which we're definitely going to be rocking in the winter. There you go. Professional yapper. So I've been waiting to have a shirt that describes who I am and this one doesn't. And then you got AK Media. You got AK Media right there. So that was also super cool. They met in high school, but Amit provided the magic. Exactly. They met in high school, but Amit provided the magic. So professional yapper. That is one of the gifts that they got. Speaking of high school, it's probably hiding underneath these gifts. Oh, I found it. Shout out to Bionic Kraken for this bad boy. Now, I've said a lot of good things about the gifts that we got today. The currently right now sign was just incredible. I mean, these are some amazing gifts. This thing, I'm sorry, but this thing, I think it takes the cake, dude. I think it takes the cake. So, I mean, like, your boy got a High School Musical remix special edition 2-disc DVD. I don't even have a DVD player anymore, but I'm going to get one for this. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, this is iconic. So, again, like, obviously, you know, he got this joke as a troll, but like the fact that, like, the meme of me saying High School Musical is a top 10 movie of all time, which, like, I don't think it's that meme-ish. You know, if Opendoor could be an $82 stock, why can't High School Musical be a top 10 movie of all time? But anyway, like, picking up on those cues and like getting a gift to reflect that, that's just super cool. And it means a lot to me, even if I'm not gonna watch the DVD that he got me. So shout out to you, Bionic Kraken. Thank you for that gift. And that was super awesome as well. Okay, so this one is very timely for Wednesday because this one was given to me by Derek, another Derek, not our Derek, but someone you guys have seen in the chat many times, Derek Dagger. Your boy will be wearing this on Wednesday. He works at Nvda, and he got me an Nvidia t-shirt, Nike Nvidia t-shirt. I mean, look, dude, I think we all think Nvidia is going to crush it. Hopefully they do, but yeah, there you go. Got some Nvidia merch. I asked him what it's like working at Nvidia. I think he's been there for like 10 years, and he's just like, dude, it's a blast. He was like, it's just one of the coolest companies to work for. I asked him one funny question. I was like, so when DeepSeek happened and you saw the market reaction, were you guys just all laughing? He was like, dude, we were freaking laughing our asses off because they all knew, like, you know, if you're in Nvidia, you understood eventually reasoning models would come into the world and reasoning models would architect the different paradigm of how you think about compute and infrastructure. But the market was like, oh my goodness, this Chinese reasoning model, boom, Nvidia's dead. And so all the Nvidia points were just laughing because they're like, that's not how it goes. But yeah, it was fun. I also got these socks from him as well. Got these Nvidia socks. So I'll be rocking all this on Wednesday, and hopefully Nvidia has some fun for us. Okay, let's do this one. This is from my boy Gene, who's also a mod on the chat and a great friend as well. First time we got to meet. I think he's been watching since 2022. He almost put a lot of money into C3 AI, and he ended up switching that for Palantir, which is why he got me this. So this was super cool. You got an official Palantir certification of stock. Derek kind of started this trend on the channel. Oh, I already took it to the new apartment with the Tesla share that he got me last year, and I showed you guys that. So Gene got me a Palantir one, and as you can see that quote at the bottom, I love burning the short sellers, Alex Karp. This was super cool. So again, this will be hung up in the back of the apartment as well, and in the studio. And we officially have a share of Palantir. So I'll never be selling this, that's for sure. You literally could sell this. You could get in touch with like the website and actually sell this, but I will be a Palantir shareholder forever with the share. And speaking of shares in physical format, this gift from Tess, who you guys know very well in the chat. She's also been on the channel when she ripped up Skrelly on the quantum thesis. We got hoodie. So now we have hoodie, Tesla, and Palantir. She got me this official Robinhood share. First of all, she was just awesome the whole night because she was actually helping me manage the chaos of the meetup, right? And just making sure things were good. And she helped me get the gifts from one location to the other when we had to transition. Like she was just being an absolute angel. But the cool thing about this is the quote that she has right here is from Vlad to me. So Vlad was on my show in 2024, not on the actual podcast, but on the Q1 2024 earnings recap. He actually came on the channel and he said, we're laser focused on building excellent products. That's what Vlad said to me. And so she included an actual quote by Vlad to me on the share, which is just so cool. It's just so freaking cool. So shout out to Tess. Thank you for the Robinhood share. Gene, thank you for the Pouncer share. Now we have Robinhood, Pouncer, Tesla. We need Grabby Grab to make a little bit of a move. And if it does, then hopefully we can get that Grab share on the wall as well. By the way, a decent amount of you came up to me and said, hey, I'm in Grab. I'm in it. I'm like, all right, we're all in it then. We're all in it. We're trying to go 3 for 3. We are trying to go 3 for 3. I'm not saying this is a $100 stock. I'm saying it's a $10 stock. All I want is $10 out of it. I want $10 out of it, which I think is possible. I know it sucks when you see Opendoor go from like $4 to $5 in a day and Grab stuck at $5. But also, you know, there's something real you're investing in. Whereas Opendoor, you're investing in hype, and that's okay. But with Grab, I think as a real journey, this company is going to be able to compound, and hopefully that becomes another big stock for the channel. And this one ends up doing what it does. Also, Grab doesn't go from 580 back to 450 in a day like Opendoor is at right now. Opendoor is at 448 because, you know, a lot of people are dumping it now because they see the downtrend. So like, it is what it is. Hopefully that stock ends up becoming something very special for all of us. Okay, so here is another gift from Ray and Michelle. Now this one, a lot of you guys are not going to get. A lot of you guys are not going to get this gift. You're not going to understand what the context of this gift is. Ray and Michelle are probably already laughing before I introduce it. Could I find the video of this to give you guys context? Because if I could find the video, that would be the best thing in the world. I'm going to do a quick Twitter search to see if I can find the context of this video. I don't have the video. I thought it was on a Pouncer Weekly back in 2022. And this was super, super funny. Let me just pull it up on YouTube real quick. Maybe I can find the clip on YouTube. Let's see how good YouTube search is. Let's see if I put in Pouncer Weekly, will it come up? Will it come up? No, it didn't come up. Okay, this is very niche. It's going to be hard for YouTube to find this. Hopefully I'll get to find it later. But there was a Pouncer Weekly podcast with Steve, Matt, and myself. And and Steve was just getting into Pokemon, okay? Steve was just getting into Pokemon. Like this was back in either early 2023 or end of 2022. It was Pouncer Weekly. Stock was like maybe $10. And someone had tagged Steve, Matt, and I in a card on Twitter while we were doing the weekly. And so I saw the notification, and I think this was like a 4-hour stream, bro. It was like, well, it went into like 2 a.m. in the night. If someone can find the clip, please send it to me. And by the end of the stream, we were not talking about Pouncer. We were talking about Pokemon cards. And so someone tagged us, and I pulled this up, and I was like, Steve, what do you think about this card? And I was dead serious because from the glimpse of the notification, I thought there was a real card that someone was going to show us. It was Garcia. Yes, it was Garcia who did this. If you guys know Garcia, you know what he does. It ended up being a card called Thick Charizard, and Ray got me a Pokemon Thick Charizard card. The Thick Charizard that so many of you guys remember from that moment, he made it an official card. Like, dude, when he handed this to me, I was like, there's no way you did this. There's no way you actually did this. And Steve doesn't know. When I text this to Steve, he's going to stop whatever he's doing and he's going to call me. And he's going to be like, there is no way in hell someone gave you that. And I'm going to be like, no, someone gave me this. So a lot of you guys probably don't get the joke because you guys weren't there at that time. But for those that get it, this was the funniest thing. Can someone find the clip? That clip has got to be somewhere. It legitimately was the funniest. Matt was dying. Like, I think we laughed for almost 5 minutes because we were all about to seriously talk about this Pokemon card because we were talking about like the economic value of certain rare Pokemon. And then Garcia was like, yo, what do you guys think about this one? I was like, Steve, what do you think about that? I was like, Steve, Thick Charizard. And I started talking like I was serious when in reality, it was a meme. So there you go. That was another fun gift we got at the meetup. Okay, this we got it's kind of like mitts. Oh no, it's like mitts and scarves. It came with this hat. I'll get the letter from the person who gave it, but for those that did, this was really cool. It was part of their culture. It's if I'm not wrong, Middle Eastern, and so this was also really cool as well. Just getting some of you guys who brought some cultural stuff into the meetup as well. It kind of looks like a Christmas stocking. It's not a Christmas stocking, but it definitely does look like it. But the patterns of this, they're hand knitted. It really, really just looks awesome. So shout out to, they're not socks. They're too thick to be socks. Like you can't wear these as socks. Maybe they are socks, but I don't think they're socks. They described it as like mitt. They're not a scarf, but whatever they are. I don't know if they're meant to even be worn. They're meant to kind of be like put up, but it was super cool. And so it was really nice just seeing people from different cultures, show me this type of stuff as well. And this will be part of the background as well. We'll just put all these different walks of life and diverse stuff that we got from the meetup as well. Now, speaking of hats, shout out to Josh. So Josh is what hooked up the mods with the night lounge in Miami for the mod dinner, which was very, very special. And the mod dinner, I'll show you a picture right here. There's all the mods in the channel. We got to see Brickell City's skyline, which was very nice. And Josh, he runs a company that handles ice cubes for like the entirety of Miami. So every bar, nightclub, lounge, like he has relationships with like all 100, 150 of them. And he does the ice for them. So he had Palantir ice cubes for us. I'll show you guys a picture of that in a bit as well. And those Palantir ice cubes were just incredible. And yeah, he hooked us up with a spot. So it was super cool because we all got to just drink and talk and have fun there. Do I have the video, the Powered by Palantir? Yeah. So this is you guys won't be able to hear the audio, but this is the Powered by Palantir video. So we had the bottle service. There's a skyline. There's Michelle, Zoe in the back, and then you got Powered by Palantir. This was awesome. This was just super cool. So the reason I'm bringing him up, A, is to thank him for giving us the spot because it was super cool. And it was the first time I got to meet him. I got to meet CJ, awesome people there. But his girlfriend does hair. His girlfriend is a hair consultant. Now, and you guys know for the past 7 months, I've been saying I am looking for a hair consultant. And I got talking to her. I was like, what do you do for a living? She's like, oh, I manage people's hair. I was like, hold on. Because I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time. You manage people's hair? She was like, yes. I was like, I've got an issue. I'm tired of wearing hats, but I don't know what to do my hair because it's too long. It's curly sometimes, straight sometimes. Like, can you help manage my hair? And so in 2 weeks, I have a meeting with her. And she is going to give me the best professional opinion based on her decade-long experience working in hair to tell me what my next hairstyle should be. Because I'm really getting tired of wearing hats every day. Like, it's just like, I want to stop wearing hats, but I also don't know what to do with all my hair. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to talk to her. And that actually was like one of the biggest things that happened at Miami. Because dude, it's hard to find like someone you can trust. Like I talked to her for 30 minutes and I was like, well, I have this issue. She's like, yeah, I can tell. Like she was like really just like responsive. She understood my concerns. She understood like what I'm trying to do with my hair, but like how I also want to experiment in other ways. And so, yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited for that. So I officially have a hair consultant that I will be speaking to. And it's Josh's girlfriend. So I appreciate that. All right, cool. What else do we have? We got this right here, which was awesome. We got some cologne. NYC Street. This thing smells different, bro. Nail consultant next. Well, this is why I do the mani-pedi, to make sure the nails are good. But this was awesome. This stuff smells incredible. So I will definitely be wearing this at the next meetup. NYC Street is what it's called. And it's good, dude. And you always need some cologne. So very nice to get some of that cologne as well. So that's what we got. Now this right here, let me show you guys this. This is from the Boston meetup. I never showed this gift because it came in a week ago because it took them a while to get it done. But someone, aka Kevin and Rich, created this plaque. It's a hard plaque. And it says Palantir, Carp, and Kukraja, Alex Carp, and then me, 2025 with 2 goats with the Palantir logo. This is legit, bro. This is absolutely legit. But they didn't get to send it. They didn't get to give it to me in Boston because Boston, like the thing wasn't ready by Boston. So yeah, they sent it to me a freaking week ago, and I'm getting to show it now. So this will also be in the background. It's super cool. Got two goats right there. Carp Cucarasia 2025 Palantir. Both of their lives were changed by Palantir. Rich in particular, he had a lot of stocks like GE and Ford and like all this junk. And then back in 2024, May, when the stock fell from 25 to 20, he just got rid of everything and put it all into Palantir. And since then, it's absolutely changed his life. So shout out to Rich and Kevin. Thank you so much for this. And this will definitely be making it to the new studio as well. I got all of this to go into my bag because I don't know. I guess I'm good at packing. I took none of this was in my carry-on. That's why usually at the meetups, I only bring a carry-on, but this time I brought a full luggage and we got everything to fit. So yeah, that's why everything was able to come through. It's a lot of stuff, but I also barely, I mean, I had like 3 pants and like 5 shirts. So that's why the suitcase was big enough to get everything. I think it was like 47 pounds at the end, which wasn't too bad. So yeah, we got everything to come through. This as well, another Miami hat right here, Miami Hurricanes. So I got a ton of Miami gear. Dude, I don't think I said this yet. I love Miami. I love this city. Oh no, I did say this the day of the market open. I was like, dude, I just love this city so much. And it's an incredible city that has an incredible amount of culture. And it's just so beautiful. First of all, the people are beautiful. You know, one thing the city definitely motivates you to want to get more fit, bro, because everyone in Miami is fit and everyone's like working out and it's just like a vibe of it. It's like you don't want to be out of shape in Miami because everyone just cares so much about maintaining their health. And like Derek took me to this lunch spot. It was one of the best like healthy places to eat. It was called Sprouts. If anyone's there, they have like 7 franchises in Florida, in Miami. And it was just like, the food was amazing. It was just like you don't see a Burger King on every corner. Like it was a really nice spot. It's a really, really nice spot. I did not go on a yacht. I did not go, even though I got invited a couple times, but I did not go on a yacht. But it was just nice to see. And I'm not going to move there anytime soon because New York has my heart. But in the future, anything's possible. And I wouldn't be opposed to moving there. That's for sure. Also, no state income tax. That definitely helps as well. So, and then we got this phone case as well. This was also really cool. I might actually use this phone case because this like holds your wallet and your stuff. And I'm always losing my wallet. So someone got me this magnetic phone case, which was super awesome. Is Miami expensive? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely expensive, but I don't think that means that. Look, if it's expensive, so if you can afford to live in it, then you can afford to live in it, right? So I don't know at this stage of life if I can like legit afford to live in Miami the way some people are, but hopefully in the future, and that's from a tax perspective, it would be beneficial as well. But it's just a beautiful place. It's just a beautiful place to live in. Mila, shout out to Mila. She was also there at the meetup. I'll have all the pictures of everyone that was there. And I'll be able to post it live so everyone will be able to see it. Mila brought her husband, which was awesome. Her husband, usually it's the girl saying like, you're stealing my man away from me for 7 hours a day. This time it was the husband saying, dude, you're stealing my girl away from me for 7 hours a day because she's listening to you. Ironically, she teaches language. So as I was like, what do you do? She's like, oh, I'm a language teacher. I just started smiling. She was like, yeah, you're smiling, aren't you? I was like, I've been talking so much shit about learning language. But no, learning language is important, obviously. It's just in the context of that versus financial literacy. I picked financial literacy, but it was great to see her. It was great to see her as well. And yes, I didn't go swimming, but I did step into the private beach that Derek lives at. And I got my feet wet, nothing too crazy. And it was gorgeous, bro. And the thing about the water here is that it's, there's a picture of it. The water is warm. It's not cold water. It's like you could legit swim in this, even if it's like 60 to 70 degrees and not feel anything, even though Miami is usually 80 degrees. So it's just beautiful, bro. It was absolutely beautiful. And it was very nice to be there and get to experience all of it. So there you go. Am I missing anything? If I did, I will show it off in a future video. I think we got pretty much everything. Oh, someone gave this as well. We got a bunch of different bells. I gave bells to everybody. This one's a really elite bell, dude. This is one. Maybe I should hang this up in my door so as soon as someone walks in, you hear the bell. We had this bell as well, so this was super cool. Shout out to Gustavo. He got me this. It's chocolate. Does anyone know what country this is from? I think he said it's from. Dude, where is this from? It's either from Latin America. It's somewhere from Latin America. I don't know what exact country, but he got me this chocolate as well, along with his Miami hat, which is super cool. So, yeah, this was also very, very dope. The phone cover was me. Somesh, thank you for the phone cover. Appreciate you, man. P.S. Loved your Hindi accent. Yeah, a lot of it. There was definitely a bunch of Indians there, and they're like, "Hey, can you actually speak Hindi?" And then I responded to them in a Hindi accent, which was not a good Hindi accent. Like, I responded to them in Hindi, even though I don't speak it that well. But some people were somewhat impressed that I could speak Hindi. So, thank you, Somesh, for that. That was also awesome. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. Is it? Yeah, pretty much. If I find something else, I'll show you guys. But I believe that's pretty much it. And overall, it was just awesome. Oh, I found it. Oh, shout out to Uriel who's watching. Shout out to Uriel. This was September 2023. This was the thick Charizard moment that created the meme that Ray has now turned into real life.
Look into what Brad Garlinghouse has done with all the different financial institutions. There's real utility there.
Okay, how much is this worth, Steve?
I have no idea.
No, why is that Charizard so thick? Oh, it's called thick Charizard. I thought this was a legit card, bro. I was like, why is that ass so thick? And then I realized it says thick
I thought
Charizard.
you were making fun of Steve.
No, I swear to God, I thought this was a legit card. I swear out of my life. I thought I wanted Steve's expert. What is this?
Okay, that's funny. I will say that.
Yeah, you got me on this one, bro. Yo, Matt is literally dying at this. Dude, I really thought it was a real card. It was Garcia. Like, he trolled all of us.
Even better that you didn't even
a real
know.
Card. And I was like, why is that ass so fat, bro?
No, but seriously, admit, you look at me. I buy sports cards because I really like the 96 through 2000 Yankees. I think kids and young adults are going to buy back their childhood when they get older.
Matt is literally dying, bro, at this. He's dying of laughter.
And I think the cards today, people are going to want to open up later on. I'm investing in sealed product, and I'm planning on selling that down the road. And the numbers show that these go up in value over time, and it's been like this. And I didn't even put the earlier stuff from the early 2000s on here. Like, every set, excluding this new era that just came out, has appreciated substantially. So I'm looking at it as I'm going to
Steve was being so serious in my head. I'm just like, did I just click on a thick Charizard? And Matt like cannot stop laughing right here. That's the origin of the meme. That is the origin of the. Yeah, he's a savage, bro. He was locked in. Steve was locked in. Steve laughed for like 2 seconds, and me and Matt were like, "What is going on?" Steve was like, "No, we got to talk about what's going on." Yeah, see, Matt. You see how Matt's smiling right here? Matt gets it instantly, and me and Steve are trying to figure this out, and then I come to the conclusion of like what it actually is. So there you go. That's the origin of the meme, and now we have the manifestation of that meme in person. So that's what we got. Siege, thank you for the $500 super chat. I got to meet Siege in person, which was awesome. I was super drunk by the time I got to talk to you. Trust me, I could tell. There was a couple of you that were a little tipsy by the time. This is why I didn't drink, dude. I didn't drink because I knew you guys were going to drink, and I wanted to make sure I could talk. So I could tell, Siege, you were a little tipsy. I was super drunk by the time I got to talk to you. I hope that original Sand Ships brings you as much luck as it brought me starting in March of 2009 when LVS went from 2 to over 40 by October 2010. My first 20 bagger, followed by a few others on my journey. I wish you many 20 baggers on your journey. Thank you for everything you do. Happy B-Day. Siege, I appreciate that. That reminds me. Let me see if I can get my wallet real quick. Give me a second. Okay, so I think your chip is in my wallet. If it's not in my wallet, it was in my carry-on. But he gave me a chip from Las Vegas, which represented LVS. If it's not my wallet, it's got to be in my carry-on, which I'll get later. Yeah, it's in my carry-on. And it was one of the first chips that represented his first 20 bagger on that stock, LVS. So it was a chip from their casino, but it represented their stock. And dude, no, that was an incredible, not only incredible like memento from you, but it also, you told me about your life and how that kind of changed your life as a 20 bagger. And since then you've been able to find some more 20 baggers. But deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate that gift as well. Thank you for the $500 super chat. You did not have to give that much money. You're very kind. But even though you were a little tipsy when you were talking, you were tipsy with passion when you were talking. And that passionate tipsiness of explaining your first 20 bagger was deeply appreciated. Did IBKR just get into the S&P 500? Are you guys telling me that's a thing? Did that just happen? IBKR stock is up 4% after hours. Really? Did they just get in? It's not my birthday, by the way. It's not. I don't know if Siege is trolling, but it's not my birthday. Even though Tom Lee thinks it's my birthday. It was just a meme, which is why everyone's saying happy birthday to me. Is IBKR in the S&P 500? Did they actually get in? Whoa. IBKR took out Walgreens. There you go. Evan, thank you for being my personal Bloomberg. Evan just posted it. Okay, look, I actually don't hate this. Am I upset Hood didn't get in on this one? Sure, but we still have a chance in September for a rebalance. This is only one rebalance, and I didn't even know this was happening today, but I guess the S&P committee decided they were going to get rid of one company for another. I still think they will have an official rebalance in September. Yeah, that means they're open to it. They're definitely open to brokerages if they're getting IBKR. Also, dude, I can't even complain. IBKR, although they're not growing like Hood, they're a way bigger international company versus Hood. I know Hood has a bigger market cap. I think I'm pretty sure Hood has a bigger. Yeah, Hood has pretty much the same market cap, 105 billion. But IBKR's presence globally is way bigger than Hood's. So I can't get mad at them for picking IBKR over Hood. But I didn't even think Hood was supposed to get in. I didn't think any company was supposed to get in today. I think this was just a general rebalance on getting rid of one name that's like really at the bottom, like Walgreens, which is basically not going out of business, but private equity is probably going to swallow them up soon, and replacing them with someone else. So I don't think people should be too upset that Robinhood didn't get in. Yeah, they were just sick of Walgreens probably. There's still a lot of companies in the S&P 500 that don't deserve to be there. Enphase is one of many examples. Now, if we don't have a meaningful rebalance in September and the S&P 500 does what they did 2 months ago, they were like, oh, we don't need to make any changes. It would be very annoying to me. There's not much I can do about it, but yes, it would be very annoying. I can't get mad at them though for picking IBKR. I can't get mad at that. Now, Hood, Block, I can get mad about. Block was stupid, bro. Block was really just dumb. I did not think that should have happened. So, hopefully they recognize that eventually Block will not be the only fintech that deserves to get in. But regardless, we got rid of Walgreens and we got IBKR. Yeah, I know. Look, IBKR is a great company, dude. Like Block, I think is just look, they're a good company. They're not some exceptional. I don't think they're a top 500 company in the world. I think IBKR is. I really do. IBKR is a major broker that is used across the entire world. Like my uncle uses IBKR in Singapore. So like this is a company that has a massive presence and they're growing. And not only on top of their growth, they have momentum because of this bull market, whereas Block has really not had that much momentum, even with the crypto. Block's been one of the worst performing crypto proxies, even though the name is called Block because of blockchain, right? So I think IBKR definitely deserves it. Hopefully Hood gets in September as well. We're just going to see if that plays out. Announcement September 5th for the next rebalance. I think they don't change, unfortunately. Well, now that they made the rebalance with IBKR and Walgreens, the problem is, although there's a shot for Hood to get in, this might be their way of saying, hey, we don't need to do any more rebalances. That's the issue. Is Hood down, by the way? Let me check. Hood is down a little bit. Nothing crazy. So if they don't do another rebalance, is that the end of the Hood to 120, 130 bull case this year? I don't think so. I think Q3 is going to just demolish expectations and we're going to have a good quarter.
But the S&P was really part of that bull case to get that institutional lift. If it doesn't happen now, it's going to happen in 2026. I mean, it's inevitably going to happen, but it is what it is. IBKR probably deserves to get in there as well. Palantir, thank you for the Bond 9 cologne. He said, hey, Amit, I bought it for you. Sorry for shaking your hands like 20 times. I got a little emotional. Dude, no worries at all. I appreciate it. You brought 2 friends with you to the meetup as well, which was awesome because you got some of your friends into the investing community. So it's called Wall Street. You have to wear it on your first date after you move out. Agreed. I will wear. Oh, is it actually called Wall Street? Yeah, it is called Wall Street. I didn't know that. The cologne itself is called Wall Street. Oh, wow. That's cool, dude. I just thought it was some fancy cologne. No, this is like, that's awesome. Yeah, dude, I will absolutely be wearing it on my my first date in the apartment. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you for this, and do not worry about shaking my hands like 20 times. You were awesome to talk to. And dude, I was just very humbled that people even cared enough to shake my hand and talk to me and take pictures. Like, that was just an incredible experience in and of itself. We got Mr. Derek Wall in the chat with a happy birthday. Derek, thank you for the $500 super chat. I spent like 30 minutes talking about you already, so you can rewind if you want to see me say all the stuff I said when I texted you. Derek sent me a nice long message this morning as well, and it was a fun event, bro. I think it was fun for both of us because, again, the other thing I didn't mention about Derek is he's building a company right now, so I got to see him operate as a startup founder. And so, back to back, he was in meetings and he was doing stuff, and I was just listening to the meetings. I was listening to like how he was negotiating. He was like, he got a phone call randomly at like 11 p.m. and someone wanted to invest in the company. It's a very strategic investor, not just like some random person, someone who could actually use the product that he's building inside of the e-commerce space. And like just seeing how he handled those negotiations as someone who's been doing it for 30 years, it was just like a wealth of experience for me to gather. And that was the cool part. My sister was like, well, what did you and Derek do the whole time? I was like, dude, we talked. We didn't really go out. We went out one night for dinner, but like we didn't. And then we went to the meetup, but like we talked. On Sunday, the reason I lost my voice this morning is because on Sunday, we both were like, we were drained after Saturday night because he had never spent 7 hours talking to like, 100 different people in a while. He probably did that a long time ago, but his voice was gone. My voice was gone. But we still started talking on Sunday about what we actually called Steve. We all were him and Steve were on a phone call, and we were talking for like an hour with Steve. So on Sunday, I should have shut up, but I couldn't shut up. So that's why I missed the market open today. But Derek, thank you, man. Thank you for being here and appreciated you being part of the channel. Doug says, I'm glad I got to meet Derek. I was hoping to have more time to visit with folks, but I was really impressed by how much time you were just pouring into the folks sitting at the table. Yeah, dude, the goal of the meetup for Derek was he was going to show up, drop me off, say hi, and then leave, and then pick me up at night. And so the fact that he stayed for like 7 hours and just talked to people and got to, because he didn't know what to expect at these things, but like, and he knows like my brand is growing and all this stuff, but he didn't know what it would be like in real life. And he became the life of the party. The funny thing is Matt Money got a couple of the mods, including Matt Money, came before I came at like 5 o'clock and he came in at 4:30 or 4:45. And so the bar didn't open until like 4:50. And so they get out of the Ubers and like there's like 30 people already waiting to get into the bar to be there early. And someone just gets out of the Uber and is like, Matt Money, is that you? And it was just like, Matt was like, what is going on, bro? So like the cool thing about it is it's not just me. It's the whole community, right? If Steve was there, I don't even want to know what would happen. I think Steve would have been bombarded by you guys. But like the fact that it was people were just excited, not just for me, but for Matt and all these other people. That's the fun part about this stuff. I wish Tanner could have came. I wish Chris could have came. They both got busy, but hopefully in the future we get a lot more of these people to show up and show out. Uzi says, I got out of the Uber and with Matt and he instantly got caught. Yeah, exactly. Which was just wild to see everyone experience that together. Nick, thank you for the $5 super chat. The community in Miami really raised the bar on future gifts for Amit. I hope to see you in a local meet at New York City, New Jersey, or Pennsylvania. Yeah, I hope to see you at a local meet as well. We just got to do a lot more planning for these meetups in the future, Nick. So unfortunately, I do not think we will do a meetup until I've got logistics figured out. I've got to do a lot of stuff to figure out exactly how we're going to make this really be strong on all fronts. So hopefully by the end of the year, we can get that stuff figured out. But New York's such an easy place to do a meetup. So, eventually we'll do a meetup in New York again. It's just a question of getting the venues and getting everything that's necessary to make things happen. So there you go. When are you doing a Europe tour? The goal is next year. But again, this was a wake-up call to me that it's like there's going to be a lot of people that want to come to these. This is not just you at 50 people in a bar anymore like it was in January. So, now you think about international. I'm like, okay, well, I can call up a bar in California right now, even if it's 2:00 to them, and I can talk to the owner and figure out if I can arrange a meetup. I can't just call up some bar in Germany, or if I can, I don't know exactly how to, right? So there's just a lot more planning that has to go into getting this stuff to happen correctly. Singapore is definitely happening. Singapore, I have connections in, including my uncle. So Singapore, I think July 2026, that's kind of the time frame. Singapore should be a real thing. But for some of these other European countries, I just got to figure out how this plays out. Did you talk about IBKR getting into the S&P? Yes, they are officially in. You can see that right there. Let me get the charger from my laptop real quick before it dies. There you go. IBKR is part of the S&P 500. The stock's not even reacting that much because it's not really a volatile stock. So it's up 5%, but nothing crazy. So once again, Hoodie doesn't get in. I am hoping September they give Hoodie a shot, but if they don't, it is what it is. If they don't, it is what it is. And there's not much we can do about that. So Doug says these meetups are now significantly a portion of a large wedding reception, except almost everyone is a stranger. Yeah, and that's the other thing, dude. Everyone is a stranger. Everyone knows each other in the chat. But at a wedding reception, you have invites and you know who you're inviting to the wedding. At a meetup, you have no idea who you're inviting, right? You're just hoping that everyone's like normal. And so again, nothing went wrong at this meetup. Nothing went wrong at any of the meetups that we've had so far. I just think, like, personally, I can't rely on luck for nothing going wrong, because in the future, what if something does go wrong? You never know, right? You got to have some level of risk mitigation on these things. And so I've got to do some planning to figure it out. But that doesn't mean the meetup idea is over with. It just means we've got to have a revamp of how I structure the meetup. And I'm already building a team as we speak. Like over the weekend, I got to talk to a couple people, and I think we're going to have something figured out over the next coming months, but it should be fun. It's really easy to solve it too. You have verification of who's coming, and then you have security to make sure the people that are coming are actually the people that are who they say they are. And then you have a venue that is a private venue so that there's enough clearance, security, accreditation, all that stuff to make sure that the event goes fine. So like the event planning business is a multi-trillion-dollar business. It's not like some thing that people haven't done for the past 40, 50 years. Like there's events happening every single day across the world. The question is just making sure you have the right team to make it happen. And that requires more work. And, I just got to be able to put in that work. Shout out to Michael. He was there as well. Michael's been watching since freaking 2021. Early. Dude, a lot of you people, okay, so there's a couple other topics I want to talk about, but a lot of you people, let's talk about Palantir. A lot of you people have found me through Palantir and obviously invested a lot in Palantir. Michael was one of them, and so many of you, through Palantir. Desi says singing happy birthday should be mandatory at all the meetups. We're going to confuse so many people every time we do these happy birthdays. We already confused freaking Tom Lee that I couldn't correct on Twitter. But yes, it feels like that's going to happen every time. Palantir has changed so many lives. Palantir has changed so many lives. I mean, I met someone who's up like $30 million on Palantir. And, he comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, bought a lot of shares because of your videos at $10. And it was quite crazy to just hear those types of stories. And, that guy was more extreme because obviously he's up a lot of money. But there's a lot of other people that, even if I met a couple of you that were up $1 million, a couple of people were up several million, some people up like a couple 100,000. But like it absolutely changed your life. And the fun thing about this guy is that he didn't know anything about Figure, the robotics company that I invested in because of Derek. Ironically, in February 2024, when Derek came on the channel and we made the introduction of like me investing in Figure, my first private startup, and Derek called in for like 30 minutes and just talked about the investment. Unfortunately, that day, I would say at least 70% of the comments were scam. This guy's trying to get you out of your money. This guy just stole $25,000 from you. Yeah, like blah, 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 just scam across the board. Like old, like people just, rushing to the like most negative assumption about a human being. Obviously, we've seen how it's worked out since Figure has done very well. And Derek is like a really, really important person in my life. But this guy was listening that day. He wasn't reading the chat. He had a hookup with someone in the private world. And he asked them the day after Derek was on the stream, hey, do you have any exposure to Figure? And the guy said, yes, but you have to wire me your money in like 24 hours. And that's it. And then the round is closed. And I had the same experience. I had to like wire the money literally on February 14th. And then the round was closed and it was done. He sends in 250 grand. He has no idea what Figure is. He just knows that it's like this robotics company. And Derek said it's going to be big. He's now up $4 million on that. And so when I say it's a community effort, like it's like, even that one moment of Derek coming on the stream, and remember, Derek invested in Figure when they were a freaking $70 million company on a napkin, right? So Derek's been in this thing for a minute. Even that moment has created substantial amounts of wealth for people that were listening. I think there was only, at the time, there was less than 1,500 people that were watching those streams, which was still substantial at the moment, but now it's changed since then. But the people that were watching, they got something from it. And that person in particular who had a hookup to a private connection. And this guy's not like some super rich guy. This is like Palantir at the time was, barely $12. So like this really all happened at once in terms of his rise to really obtaining wealth. So Figure, I would imagine $250,000 at the time, was a significant part of his net worth. And he dumped it into Figure because of Derek on that stream. And now Figure is what it's become today. So it's just been pretty incredible. It's been pretty incredible in terms of the entire journey. In terms of Palantir, again, final thing I'll say on this is just it changed a lot of lives. And part of it is I say this all the time, but I just want to make sure I repeat this. I would not be where I am today if it wasn't for Palantir or Hood. I just wouldn't be here, right? Like at the end of the day, dude, I don't think we would be doing a meetup if Palantir was still $7, right? Like if this is a finance community, we're all about making money at the end of the day, right? As much as we love each other. And so we need the investments that we are allocated in to make money, to go higher, right? We need those shares to appreciate so that we can recognize the value of the capital that we are allocating. And for Palantir and Hood to both do a 20x in 2.5 years, it is created the hallmark of the community because a lot of us kind of got rich together, to be honest. And now the show is more about general market commentary, not just Palantir or Hood. And we're able to talk about Rocket Lab and ASTS and BM&R and all these other names and general macro and all this stuff. And that's a big part of the community as well, just like the ability to be talking with each other about anything in regards to the markets. But in those early days when there were a couple hundred people, it was one or two picks that created the ascension of the channel to be where it is today. Hopefully Grab is next. We're going to see. But Derek says, don't buy shit that I talk about. Well, the Figure thing that you talked about, Derek, that scammy startup that ended up 20xing for someone who is listening. The point I'm trying to make is Palantir and Hood are the architects of this channel. So I've seen two perspectives of this, and Derek and I were having a conversation about this. One perspective, which is the positive perspective, which is, hey, people go their whole lives to try to find a 20x, much less a stock that can go up 3-4 times over. Like, you find 2 20x's in 2.5 years. People go their entire lives to find those companies. And the fact that this community was able to find those two names and heavily allocate, when I mean heavily allocate, I was broke in 2022. I was spending whatever dollars I could on Palantir. I started making a little bit more money, then got to invest in Hood. But a lot of people that were watching me were not broke. A lot of you guys had money when we were talking about Palantir. You were much older than me, right? So you had the ability to allocate and buy 10,000 shares, 20,000 shares. As a community, being able to get those investments correct and have them play out, it's been unbelievable. And it's led to the rise of so many people being part of this community and excited for it. The other perspective on this, which is the negative perspective, is there's only 2 stocks that like people are excited about that have done well. And if those 2 stocks didn't do well, then this whole thing wouldn't even exist. And my response to that is, yeah, like, yes, this is kind of what Derek says about you get wealth by either inheriting it or gambling. Like we went all in, not only with our money, a lot of us, me literally with Palantir and Hood, but also with my brand on those 2 stocks, Palantir and Hood. And I quite frankly, as I'm getting older, it is better to go deep than wide. It's better to have depth over breadth. It's better to be so hyper focused on a couple of things versus be a generalist or or a pseudo expert on everything. And so I always find it so funny when like, these people on Twitter are just like, oh, well, this is all because of Palantir and Hood. I'm like, yeah, it is because of Palantir and Hood. Like, so what is wrong about that? Like, like the ability to find two names that could 20x in 2.5 years that have changed thousands of people's lives, and then be able to, and we don't only talk about those two stocks every day, but like those two stocks were kind of the bedrock of how this channel was able to begin to grow. And now we talk about everything every single day. Now we're trying to find our third one. And a lot of people, your stocks might not be Palantir Hood, your stocks might be Sofi and Rocket Lab, and you've done very well making money on those stocks. So the point is the depth of analysis on singular names, which is what an investor is supposed to do. Like Warren Buffett, not the best example, but Bill Ackman owns 8 names, right? Warren Buffett, for the majority of his life, owned only 7 to 8 names. Now Berkshire has become so big, and they acquired all these private companies like Geico. So it's a bad example, but you don't own a ton of names. You allocate and you go all in on the stuff that you really believe in, and you hope to God you're going to be right. And if you're wrong, guess what? You don't get any of the credit. You don't get any of the recognition. You don't get any of the fancy meetup speeches because you weren't right about the name that you picked. Sucks to suck. But if you do end up getting it right, which is the journey of a lifetime, right? To be contrarian and right, to have your conviction and then actually have that conviction play out in the space of everyone saying that conviction's not going to play out. That is the journey of life. And this is what Derek and I were talking about, right? Like, whenever he's built a company and he's built a startup, it's like, you have a lot of people that don't want to invest in it. Derek, there were some investors. I was, when he was raising his pre-seed round, I was part of the conversation of, or at least I got briefed on the conversation he had with certain investors who said no, they didn't invest in a startup. They were like, dude, no, I'm not investing. Derek's a 5-time founder. He's very successful. If you tell someone if you're going to invest in some kid's random AI startup, but then look at Derek, who's, multi-$100 million exits under his belt, built companies from the ground up, and say, oh, I'm not going to invest in that. It's very disrespectful. Get someone to really question, what am I doing that's wrong? And I think it was a bit of a fire under his ass to be like, no, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, you totally misunderstand the thesis of this company, and one day you're going to regret it. And I think the journey of a lifetime is when you do something that no one believes in, but you pull it off and you're right about it. And obviously that's true in startups and VC and investing, but it's really true in the stock market when, retail comes together and pulls it off. And look, the Opendoor community, that might happen to them. I'm the guy who's on the other side saying, I really don't think this is the thing that you think it's going to be. If Opendoor goes to 82 and it's because of the business fundamentals, then I'm the one who's going to be wrong. And the Opendoor community is going to be doing a meetup, and they're going to be very excited about their gains. The beautiful thing about Palantir and Hood, which is why I'm very selective with my brand and being associated with certain names, and I'm taking a risk with Grab, but I do think that will play out. And so we're going to see is that when you associate your name with a brand, or when you associate your brand with a name, with a stock, and it goes up, is it going up for BS reasons, or is it going up because they deserve a multiple? Now, look, I know a lot of people think Palantir and Hood have got a pretty aggressive multiple that maybe it shouldn't be as high. And that's fair. You can make that argument from a valuation perspective. But at the end of the day, you cannot deny the execution of Robinhood and a Palantir. So if you're part of a stock community, which is why I think a lot of the GameStop and AMC YouTubers, their channels don't exist anymore, because they got to ride the high of this community that formed around this company that they all, championed. They were the influencers of GameStop and AMC. But then you realize it's all full of shit. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And so I think the critique of oh, this is just because of Palantir and Hood is not even a critique. It's actually just jealousy disguised as trying to come up with some level of intellectual criticism when in reality, it's the opposite. Going deeper versus wider is actually what matters. And that's what I think is the hallmark of any meaningful community that's created, especially in the financial, investing space. But by the way, it's also the same for music. It's all the same for me, right? Like if you have a hit album, you're going to sell out tickets and go to a concert because people want to listen to the music. I always bring it back to music. I mean, this rock star dream is a real thing, bro. But then if the album sucks, no one wants to listen, bro. Why would I go to a concert to listen to you because the album sucks? So you got to have a good album. And if you can have 2 good albums, you'll have more people come to the concert. If you have 3 good albums, you'll have a lot more people come to the concert. And so we're working on the 3rd album. But the point is, in my freshman and sophomore albums, the fun thing about this is that it's created a lot of happiness, joy, community, and wealth for people, which is why these meetups are so special. Of course, that's what she said. Of course, the deep versus wide. I get. Of course, like this is the most unhinged chat. That's what Derek did. Derek was like, "Your chat is the most unhinged chat on the planet," but he loves it. He absolutely loves it. So there you go. Shout out to Batty. Batty was also at the meetup. Let me share some pictures now. I retweeted a bunch of people. You guys gave her so much shit for this freaking photo, dude. All she was doing was holding an umbrella, and the amount of comments that were like, "Why did you bring a cucumber to the meetup?" She did not bring a cucumber to the meetup. It was a freaking umbrella. But yes, she was awesome. She's deep into Palantirhood and BM&R, and dude, it was great. Like just getting to speak and talk and hear ideas and thoughts, and like she trades every day. So when Powell was talking, she was listening to me. Dude, there was a teacher. I'm forgetting his name, but if you're watching, let me know in the chat. There was a teacher who he teaches entrepreneurship. So first of all, you guys know I have a soft spot for teachers because my sister and my mom were teachers. But he teaches entrepreneurship. I think it's a school in Florida. Apparently, the kids have funded accounts to trade options and futures. Their parents fund the accounts. And on Friday, they had my stream on in class while we were listening to Powell. And the kids were literally trading their futures, not like simulated fake accounts, like no, real accounts that their parents funded. And they were listening to the play-by-play updates of if Powell was going to do the pivot or not inside of class. I was like, there's no way this is true. He's like, dude, like, no, this is what we do in our school. I don't know if it's a private school or something, but like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't freaking believe it. So these kids were literally, I don't know how much money they're putting, you know, maybe it's like $1,000 or something, but these are funded accounts. He teaches an entrepreneurship class, and they had my stream on in the background while they were listening to it. It was just crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is a video with Adam. He gave a toast. This was early in the meetup, so we can listen to this, but this was a toast that he did at the meetup as well.
Attention, please. Just need 30 seconds of your time. On the same thing. Humble journey, investing in Palantir, investing in other stocks, and investing in this community. We all love Ahmed. He's one of the most humble, respectful, most well-spoken, lovable, and funny, sexy, and quirky people I know. Guys, this is only the beginning. This is just starting. It's been a 5-year journey. Can you imagine where we're going to be in the next 5 years? I am proud. I am honored to be on this journey with every single one of you motherfuckers in here.
I really cannot express how grateful I am that people took the time out of their lives, spent their money, energy, people traveling from Sweden to get here. It is like just like see now this we did the rant intro. We have one life. And the memories that we can make in that life are really what make that life special. Not the Palantir stock, not the Robin stuff. That helps. That's really good. But doing it all together, being here together, it's just.
And can we take a moment of silence for all the motherfucking haters who said Palantir is not going to go above $20? Guys, thank you everybody for being here. Ahmed, thank you so much. I love you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Guys, thank you very much.
He was at the first meetup in New York.
It was dope, man. It was super, super dope. Shout out to Adam, dude. It was super, super, super dope. So like that's the energy at these meetups, you know. It's just really good vibes, really good energy. You guys could hear all the bells in the background, everyone ringing the bells. Like, dude, it's like this is, you know, it's hard to comprehend this stuff, dude. I don't even think my parents really understand like what's going on. Like my dad picked me up from the airport yesterday, and like he couldn't even fully grasp what's happening. But I do think it is just the beginning of a community that's being built right here. Some people are saying this feels very toppy. I mean, look, I can understand that perspective of like, oh, investors do a meetup, and so like because everyone's happy about their gains, it's toppy. But I think that's again misdiagnosing the situation. I think all of us for years, in particular, have been looking for a community to talk to about investing. All of us, again, 0.01% of the world actually does investing, right? So many people are so afraid to risk their capital. So for the people that do, it's harder to do it without having a community, whether it's a YouTube chat, whether it's a live stream, whether it's a Twitter group chat, whatever. Like you just need something to be a part of. And I think what this community has been is outside of just like the major stocks that we talk about, the dissemination of knowledge that is there every single day, hopefully being driven by someone who is able to give you a well-rounded perspective on the markets every single day in an entertaining way. That is the essence of it. And I think the core of the meetup, even if this is the top and everything's going to fall 10, 20%, is that if it does, then all of us will be here together every single day trying to figure out what's going on in the markets. And if it goes up 10, 20%, we'll all be trying to figure it out together as well and deal with how we manage our portfolios. And so I think that is the essence of the meetup more than people being exuberant or euphoric. Because I didn't see euphoria at this meetup. This meetup, I saw people that were grateful for the fact that they are even in the investor class and how special all of us feel for having a chance to be in the investor class with everybody else. And so, that's what I got out of it. And that's why I think it was so fun to make it happen. What was the male to female part of the community? Honestly, I think it was like 70-30, 70% guys, 30% girls. A lot of the girls were also the wives or girlfriends of some of the guys, but there were also, there was a decent amount of girls that came by themselves. It obviously wasn't more than the guys that came by themselves, but there was a decent amount of girls that came by themselves. Like the woman who flew from Sweden, Kat, there she is right there. She flew by herself. And Marie, she was by herself, right? Marie, very lovely woman as well. So, obviously it wasn't like as much as the guys, but I still think there was a healthy amount of women that were there. And one thing that Kat, who's from Sweden, what she cares about is getting more women to invest because it changed her life. And so she was talking to a lot of the wives and girlfriends there and just getting them to realize, what your husband is doing is like something you should also be doing as well. You should be getting into it. And I think we'll have a lot more in the future. Shout out to Audrey. Audrey has been watching my channel. Audrey is married as well. Since 2021, Audrey's been there for a very long time on the channel, deep into Palantir. She's been in tech for a long time. So Audrey was there and she was great. I mean, it was just awesome. The guy in the background who's laughing, CISO, this guy runs a hotel chain in Brazil powered by AIP. I interviewed him a year and a half ago. And so we got to catch up on how the hotel chain is doing. And like now they're expanding the platform they built on Palantir AIP to manage their hotel chain to license it to other hotel chains. So he's building a SaaS powered by AIP on top of the hotel chain to license to other Brazilian hotel chains that aren't as technologically advanced. Yeah, Chelsea was there as well. Chelsea, who is part of the channel. You guys see her in the comments. So Hollywood is her username. Definitely more male than female, but she was one of the women that were there. So it was just awesome. Yeah, Desi says 70-30. Desi, she's also a woman as well. She was there 70-30. And I think that's why it was fun. Tess, obviously, she's a mod. She's a woman as well. That was awesome. So I would say, New York, I think there was like 90-10. 90% guys, 10% girls. And I think that's changing. Zocold, his wife. Zocold's cousin and his wife came. And then Zocold and his wife came. So you had two couples come together at the meetup. That was just awesome. And Zocold and his cousin, they like Zoom every couple weeks to talk about their investing. And they listen to the channel at the same time. But one of his, his cousin said something. his cousin said, look, I'm sitting with his cousin and his wife, and his cousin's like, bro, like, I'm sorry, but I have to admit this. I listen to you in the shower, and his wife's standing right next to him. I'm like, oh, so like, I make you wet every day. And then his wife was like, oh my goodness. So like those moments, right? Those fun moments of just being able to talk to everybody. That was the good stuff. That was the cool stuff. From this meetup, because those are memories. Those memories that everyone gets to keep. Lay was there as well. There you go. It was awesome to meet other female investors. Yeah, it definitely wasn't 90-10. It was 70-30. And hopefully in the future it's 50-50 and you have a lot more people as well. So the inside jokes were priceless. Yes. The inside jokes were Paul, there you go. Paul was there. Paul, I think Shilpa was there. Paul and Shilpa. That was awesome as well. Getting to see them. I think they both do real estate in Miami. So it was so cool, dude. It was so cool to, yeah, Lee is her name, not Lay. Lee's her name. It was just so cool to see all these different people and different walks of life, bro. There was a 19-year-old there. I think there was someone who was 85 years old as well. 19 and 85. Like, there's one guy who flew from Wisconsin who's like, he's made a couple million on Palantir and he's had a pretty tough life in his, but I think he's in his 60s and, you know, he's had some issues over the course of his life, but even he came through and he just, you know, wanted to see everybody. He's only there for a day from Wisconsin to Miami, and he's going to go. He went back the day after, but he just wanted to be part of the vibe and get to say hello and see everybody there. So, oh yeah, Tom was the 85-year-old. Yes. Tom was the 85-year-old. And Tom was awesome, bro. Tom had tons of energy. You know, everyone had energy. That was the cool thing too. No matter how old you are, like everyone was just so excited to be there. Let me see if I have some other pictures on Twitter as well. So look, I think we're going to keep doing these meetups and we're going to keep making happen. I just want to make sure we do it the right way and we'll keep going from there. So this was another person who was here and his dad showed up as well, which was super cool. So both of them, his dad ends up taking advice from him on most of his investments that have done really well. This was Ash. There he is. He brought his girl as well. There's Matt Money. You had a bunch of just people that were there. You got a video of me speaking as well. You have Dougie right there. You have Gustavo. This guy was awesome. There he is with Matt Money. He brought his girlfriend as well. And the cool thing about this is, when you bring your significant other, I get to ask like what your story is. And his girl stayed with him when Palantir was at $7 and he was down tons of money. And now Palantir's not at $7. And I was like, bro, you got to wife her up. You got a girl that stays with you when Palantir's in the gutter and you're not making any money. You gotta lock them up for life. So it was just so cool seeing people's stories and different people that were there. And then this was the Miami meetup, or this was the Miami mod dinner. You got Adam, you got Steph, you got Austin, you got Matt, you got Josh, you got Zoe in the back, you got his wife, CJ, Michelle. It was super cool. There's Michelle right there as well. It was just awesome, man. So I think it was a success. I think it was a success, and I think we're gonna try to keep it going and do it more in the future. Yeah, Tom, dude, so many people had merch from Palantir. So many people had Palantir merch. Yeah, he also had the Palantir app. And so Miguel, shout out to Miguel. He's right there. I flew from Honduras. I mean, there were people. I think there was legit 300 people if you include people with their wives or girlfriends. It was a lot, bro. It was a lot of people from a lot of walks of life. I'm pretty sure I got to talk to every single person. And if I didn't, please reach out and we'll try to have a conversation, because and then that's kind of why I lost my voice, because it was just running around and making sure every single person got to get at least a couple minutes with me, and I got to just hear their story for how they care so much about the community. Shout out to June. She was awesome. June has been a mod for like 3 years at this point. She was holding it down. The great thing about having the mods there, which I hope will happen at future meetups, is that with the mods, I have some sense of like safety. Just like knowing that, oh, that's June, that's Tess, that's Zoe, that's Doug. Like I know that they're, entertaining people. They're making sure things are going well. And like, because you don't have a team that's running this. So if you don't have a team and it's you by yourself, just having other people you can really trust because they're moderators in the chat, that really helps as well. So deeply, deeply appreciated that they were there. Eric, thanks for the $100 super chat. Wish I could have made it, but wanted to let you know when I was in a hospital bed with a bad injury for 2 months in January and February, you got me through every day. Thanks, bro. Eric, that means a lot, dude. That means a lot. Your story is actually similar to a lot of people, not exactly with a injury in the hospital, but rather people just saying escapism, right? The content, the community is a form of escapism in the face of shit that they're dealing with in real life, because everyone's dealing with their own shit in real life. So Yeah, I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate the content being valuable for you, and hopefully it continues to be valuable for you as well. Damashi, thanks for becoming a channel member. I was there. It was an honor to meet and chat with you. My girlfriend took a photo of us on your iconic green phone. If anyone has photos, please just tag them to me on Twitter, because there are a lot of photos. Again, we have the photos coming in from the professional photographer soon. Damashi, I think this is you, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, I think this is you because your girlfriend took this photo. So this was awesome. And yeah, just tag me in them so I could keep all the photos. But the professional photos will have a lot of the people that we got as well. I think we got like 100, 150 professional photos. So not too bad. This is Zokold's cousin and his wife as well. Like, it was just so awesome, dude. It was so awesome. So there you go. That's it. That is the Miami recap. Again, deeply, deeply appreciative for everyone who came out. The one thing I will say is this absolutely drained me. That's for sure. Aiden, thank you for the tag. I'll show you that on screen right here. He just tagged me in this. It did drain me, bro. I'm not gonna lie. It drained me emotionally, obviously, because shout out to Aiden right there. You're meeting so many people and you're hearing their stories and stuff. Physically, it drained me because it's like 7 hours of nonstop talking. And then logistically, it drained me because by the way, anyone who sent a deposit, I will be sending a Venmo or a PayPal to you in the next couple of days. I already started sending some out last night, but if you sent the $20 deposit, you'll get your money back probably by the end of the week. Logistically, it drained a lot out of me just being able to manage and navigate just something as basic as sending out emails to people and like confirming that they're like all this stuff. Like, there's got to be a better system. That's what it taught me. And I think we will create that better system. Yeah, it was a bit overwhelming. It was a bit overwhelming, but then obviously, you know, when you see the videos and you, like the experience of doing it is so special and it's so gratifying and it's so fulfilling that like you go through hell to experience that, because it's the memories of life that matter so much. But it is draining. It is draining for sure, dude. One guy flew from freaking Portugal. Ohad, shout out to Ohad. He just sent me this. And he came from Portugal to Miami, and he's going back to wherever he works, but he literally flew from Portugal to Miami, and he took a pit stop in Miami before going back to where he lives just to be at the meetup. I mean, when you see these people take this much time to do this stuff, it's pretty incredible. You need a secretary, dude. Okay, so I'm not putting out the job application yet, but yes, I think I need a secretary. I'm just like, I think I need an executive assistant. It will be well comped, but I think I do need someone who I can like trust with a lot of parts of my life to help me manage this, because now it's just getting to the point where not having it is kind of stupid, and trying to manage it yourself is just like dumb, because you just don't have enough time in the day, and then you let things slip through the cracks. Like there was a meeting today, like dude texted me 10 minutes before the meeting, and I'm like, holy shit, I have a meeting today. I had to text him. I was like, bro, I can't talk. As like, if you had an assistant that could just easily flag that meeting so that meeting doesn't have to happen, you know, those are things that are just so important. So yeah, I think in the future, we'll definitely be figuring that out. You need a wife. That's very sexist of you. Women are not just meant to be assistants. Okay. Actually, I was talking to my sister last night though, and she agreed I needed an assistant, but she was like, make sure it's a girl. And I was like, okay, Mrs. Feminist, why does she have to be a girl? Like, why can't there be a guy? She was like, well, girls are just better assistants. I was like, why? Like, what do you like? And like, she couldn't justify it. I was like, that was very sexist of you. So I got the teaser with that. But yeah, overall it was fun. You need balance here. No, that's actually what I need. I need a agentic system on AIP to be integrated with my daily life at this point. So there you go, folks. That's what we got. It was awesome. It was incredible. We'll be back with the market opens tomorrow. We do have another podcast tonight, Tech Bros with Roy and Tanner. So we will be live talking about some of this Nvidia stuff and Hood, Sofi, all that good stuff. But yeah, man, it was very, I don't know. There's not a lot of words to say, dude. It's like when you actually go to a meetup and you experience that many people together all at once. It's something I think I'm going to look back on when I'm 40. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this when I'm 40, But like looking back and seeing something like this when I'm 40 years old and knowing that this was built in my 20s, just based off like the pure grind and dedication and like commitment to being able to make something happen, and that people around the world resonated with it. That's, I don't know, special. Again, you got one life, right? You got one life, and it's part of the journey actually manifesting itself. It's the dreams and ideas you had years ago that you didn't know how they would manifesting and seeing it happen in real life. And there's nothing there's no words to describe that. At some point you just realize that, okay, cool, that happened, and you move on, and you kind of don't get complacent about you don't bask in the glory of that. Like, all right, cool, that happened, move on, let's move on to the next thing, which there's a lot of stuff coming up in the next 4 months. Let me just say that there's another reason I'm feeling kind of overwhelmed, because there's so many projects that I don't know if it's going to manifest in the next 4 months, but they're like in progress. And there's just shit that's on your plate that you realize you're going to have to eventually figure out how to deal with. So planning the meetups just makes it even harder, but you go through all that hard work to get to this moment. And, now you're living in the moment, and you try to figure out how you can keep grinding to make the moments even better. Chelsea said you had a great time, but you looked stressed. I don't think I was I definitely wasn't stressed. I was stressed. I was stressed that I wouldn't get to talk to every single person. So like when I was talking to one person and maybe the conversation was going on for 10 minutes, I'm like, dude, I really got to talk to another person right now. So I don't want to leave and sound rude, but like there's like 400 other people that they're going to, and they're going to leave in a couple hours. I need to go talk to them. So that was the biggest stress I had, but I think it was good. Like, I think the average conversation with people were like 4 to 5 minutes. And, then as soon as you start walking, you get recognized, obviously, because the meetup is for my channel, and then boom, you stop. So you're like going to that person to meet up with them because you told them give you 2 minutes, and then on the way to walking to that person, someone stops you. And then it's really hard to say, oh, I need to talk to that person, give me 2 minutes, because then you start getting into conversation with them, and so it's like that person's waiting 5 minutes, right, instead of 2 minutes. And but that's also what adds to the fun of it, right? Like the chaos of it is also what's really fun, because you're just like trying to all figure it out, and most people are not saying, oh, why is Amit late to talking to me? Like, everyone's very welcoming of the fact, and they know there's so many people there. But just getting it done by the end of the night, it felt very fulfilling knowing that, I got to talk to everybody. Also, I've got a new addiction. Okay. And it's right in front of me, and I'm going to show you guys what it is. But this is an addiction that I am very, very happy about. It's not blow, even though that was fun in Miami. No, I'm just kidding. It is this, okay? You guys ready? Why didn't anyone ever tell me about Pellegrino? Okay? This is sparkling water. I didn't know water could sparkle, okay? Derek's fridge was filled with this shit, and every hour he was going to get another one of these. And at one point, I opened the fridge and I got up I took one out as well, and I drank it. This tastes like soda, but it's water. It gives you all the fizzy carbonation of soda, which I do like, right? I've start 0-calorie Coke, Diet Coke. Like, I do like that stuff, but you don't get the bad stuff of soda, and Diet Coke is really not that good for you, even though at least it doesn't have sugar. Without actually getting all the bad stuff, it's just water. It's just water. So, dude, my apartment is about to be stacked with Pellegrino. Dude, it almost fills you up. It's amazing, dude. It's almost like you get the fizziness and carbonation of a soda, especially when it's cold outside or when it's hot outside and you just want something cold. And so you end up getting a Coke or a juice or something, but you can just get water and feel the same energy of it. So, and dude, it's better than Saratoga, because Saratoga was just regular spring water. It wasn't special. It was just in some fancy blue bottle. This shit is special. This is sparkling water. I love this, bro. I freaking love. Does anyone drink this? Am I alone? Am I the first person who thought about or who was really getting into sparkling water? It's it's like refreshing. And water is usually not that refreshing. Like water is just like, oh, you got to drink water. But like this shit is refreshing. I love it. So I drink it daily. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna be there, dude, every single day. And these market opens, you're gonna see me with this. I love this, bro. It also helps me continue to drink more water. So that's what I'm doing. That's what Saratoga makes sparkling water as well. Okay, well I didn't know that. So. Is there any health problem with this though? Is there any issue with it? Like, is there like a catch to this that I don't know about? Try LaCroix. I've never had LaCroix. I need to try that. My husband drinks 6 of these a day. Like, is there any way I get like some disease or something? Or is this decent? Like, I feel like there's got to be a catch, but I don't know. I don't think there's no catch. It's just carbonated water, no problem. Okay, good. Okay, good. There you go. So that's what we got. That's what I'll be drinking now as well. That is my new addiction. It messes up your teeth? Does it actually? Does sparkling water mess up your teeth? Tooth enamel erosion. Okay, well, soda would do that too, right? Well, yeah, soda definitely does that. Sparkling water is acidic. This acidity can dissolve tooth enamel over time. Okay, but how serious does it actually like ruin your teeth? Like, because I really want to drink this stuff, bro. Like, I don't like this stuff tastes good, and it's just regular water. Oh my god, there's always a catch, bro. There's always some. I was like, I knew there was some reason this wasn't gonna be perfect, bro. I thought I found like a perfect drink every single day to drink now. You're good, bro. No worries. I wish my patients switched to sparkling water instead of like soda. Okay. So are you a dentist, Tom Solomon? I'm gonna ask my dentist. And see what they say. Dude, Google will tell you water gives you cancer. It's fine. It's not a big deal. All right, I'm gonna do some more research and figure it out. But I love it, dude. I was like, dude, Derek, what is this stuff, dude? Derek was like, oh, that's just sparkling water. I was like, dude, this shit is crack, bro. I love this shit. This was great. So there you go. All right, I think that's it. Yes, IBKR did get added to the S&P 500. Robinhood did not make it again. Am I annoyed? Yeah, but I can't blame the committee for IBKR. You know, Robinhood's a 5-year-old company in the public markets. IBKR has been public for a long time, so it is what it is. Like, there's not much you can do about it. Hopefully, in September we get the rebalance and Hood can get in. But yeah, that's what we got. That's what we got. Thank you to everybody who showed up at the meetup. It meant the world to me. Very, 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 very special time. We got to enjoy it. Hopefully the next meetup is soon. Probably not for the next couple months, but I'm going to work with the team and we're going to plan it out and figure out what we do. And yeah, all these gifts I will be taking to the apartment tomorrow. I'll be coming up with this new background. I did buy BMNR. I bought 100 shares. Steve kind of ETH pilled me a little bit more over the weekend and I bought some BMNR. We're going to try to get it to 1,000 shares. It'll be 1,000 share position. And if you're bullish ETH, I think, being bullish BMNR is not that crazy. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow. So I think Steve should be on the show either tomorrow or Wednesday. Probably Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon is Nvda. That's gonna be a big show. Also, I have a new technical analyst coming on the show on Thursday. So this is actually a woman who does TA. She goes by the name of Real Blonde Broker. And she's only going to be on for like 20 minutes on Thursday. She's developing a brand on Twitter. Super awesome. And, as someone who's a woman in finance media, they don't get tons and tons of opportunities and there's not many of them. So I would love to have her on the channel. And so on Thursday, it's not going to be like a full-on technical Thursday. It's going to be like 4 or 5 stocks, nothing too crazy. And if you guys like her stuff, you can follow her on Twitter. Her charts have been, from what I hear, pretty damn accurate. And I've been on a spaces with her, I think like a couple months ago, and she's just like a really good person as well. So she will not have her camera on because she's like anonymous. So for everyone waiting for whatever AI image that is to pop up on the screen, you're not going to see it. But she's an awesome person, and she'll be on the channel on Thursday as well. Yeah, chat, can you please be nice on Thursday? You won't get to see any picture anyway, so like you can't judge anything because you're only gonna have her voice. So I would hope everyone will be nice. But she's gonna be cool, and that'll happen on 30. Yo, Shardy. So Shardy's another girl on FinTwit who does freaking TA, and Shardy's just like, bro. Shardy on Hood has been amazing. On Palantir, she's been amazing. She actually, like Sofi at 22, she started saying, hey guys, this thing's ready to go. Like, her TA is incredible. And so I've never heard her talk before, though. I've never heard her talk. So hopefully we can get her on the channel one day. And that would be really fun too. So that's what we got. All right, cool. I think that's it. I will have a lot more photos from the event coming up soon, and it'll be posted. I'll post the Google Drive so everyone can check out all the photos publicly. But yeah, that's it. I'm tired, bro. I slept like 4 hours over the past couple of days. Even last night, I slept like maybe 2-3 hours, and so after the podcast tonight, I didn't sleep during the whole day. I woke up at 8:20. I woke up at like 8. I got ready by 8:20. 20 minutes before the market opened, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And then I thought I would go back to sleep. I didn't go to sleep because I couldn't go to sleep. So I stayed up the whole day. So I will try to get some real sleep tonight and be back at it. And then we have Tom Lee tomorrow morning. We have Tom Lee tomorrow morning. It is going to be very fun. It's his first debut on the market open. And so hopefully he becomes a regular and he can come on more often, but at 10:30, I think he'll be on. It'll be fun. It'll be good. I did not do a pod with Jay Cush. I did not ask him for anything, by the way. I did not ask for a pod. I did not say, hey, can you connect me with Donnie T? Like, I didn't ask for anything. In these initial meetings, you don't ask for shit. You try to have a good meeting, try to have a good connection, try to have a good conversation. And, you know, maybe in the future, there's something that's built out of that. But yeah, I did not ask him for anything. But I hope one day, when I set up my podcast studio in the apartment, I hope one day if he's nearby, he's willing to come sit down and talk. But that only happens if someone likes you and they want to sit and talk with you. And so, yeah, I think we'll get Jay Cush on eventually. And it's so wild saying Jay Cush, dude. That part of the weekend was wild. Like Derek, we were like, it was like, dude, someone called me before. Someone called me to ask me about something before the like an hour before the dinner was at, not dinner, like coffee or whatever. It was at 4. It was at 3 p.m. I was getting ready. Derek was in a meeting. Someone calls me. They're like, oh, so what are you about to do? And I'm like, I was like, I'm about to go get coffee with Jared Kushner. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm going to go get coffee with Jared Kushner. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah. They're like, you mean like Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner? I'm like, yeah. Like, what do you mean you're about to go get coffee with Jared Kushner? I was like, I'm about to go get, they're like, you're lying. You're trolling me. Like, why are you trolling me? I'm like, okay, you can say, if you want me to say I'm trolling. Like, you're actually, I'm like, yes. I'm like, I need to get off the phone with you because I got to go drive to wherever he is right now. And they're like, dude, what is going on with your life? And they're like, it was one of those moments for me where I'm like, what is actually going on, bro? Like, the fuck is going on? This was like, I was just in this room without the bricks, blue background, talking about Palantir at $7, thinking that some people would care about it. And now it's like, it's just, but life comes at you fast, right? Like, life comes at you very fast. And you like the years of just making those videos and like just assuming something would happen, but not knowing what was going to happen. Basically being on a lost path, but knowing every Friday, 120 people cared about 3 guys talking about Palantir. And like, that was important for whatever reason. It was important. That was important. It's not like the stock was going up, so that didn't give us the importance. It was just like, there was some energy that was important in that ecosystem of the early grind. And now it's resulted in, just like life changing in a pretty incredible way. So yeah, it's wild. It is wild. But having said that, this is when, and this is my biggest fear. This is when people either A, get complacent, or B, they get an ego. And like the number one thing that Derek has instilled in me is to A, not get complacent. This guy works his ass off at 55. He doesn't need to work. He does not need to work. He works his ass off at 55 because he lives like he's broke. And B is don't get an ego. And Derek, I can say unequivocally, is someone who does not have an ego. Even though it seems like it sometimes when he talks and like, you know, he's a fun guy. He'll say random fun stuff and he'll make jokes, but like at its core, I see how he interacts with the valets. I see how he acts with the baristas at Starbucks. I mean, dude, every time when we went to go to Starbucks, he asked his valets, "What do you want?" He buys them breakfast every single day. You know, it's just like, and there's something very special to someone who's able to maintain the authenticity of who they are, see that authenticity result in extreme levels of wealth and success, and not compromise their humility along the journey. But that usually is what happens. There are some other YouTubers in this world that a lot of you guys mentioned to me, like a lot of you guys mentioned them to me. Not going to say their names. And you're like, dude, I can't stand the guy anymore. Like, I just can't do it. Like when you were gone on Thursday, we tried listening. I could not stay 5 minutes without being pitched something else to get some money out of me. And it's like, you've seen people that have extreme levels of success and wealth, and then immediately they give it up for bullshit, for absolute bullshit. Because what I experienced at that Miami meetup from a pure human perspective, and then I see what some of these guys are doing, I'm like, dude, you've lost the plot of life. Forget business, forget markets. You've lost the plot of life. And you will look back on this 40 years from now, realizing how much you completely destroyed the opportunity to build something real, and you gave it up for nothing, for something as stupid as money. And the reason I say that's stupid is because the money will find you if you stay authentic. It might not find you in the short term. I've been broke for the past couple of years, but it will find you eventually. Now I'm not broke. It will take time, but the long-term route, and the same in investing, right? The long-term thesis is what you have to believe in within the short-term grind where you don't see the manifestation of that long-term thesis play out. And if you take the cheap way out, you lose. You just lose. And you don't just lose the money. You lose the respect, and you lose the sense of community. And realistically, you lose your soul. And that's one of the most important things in the world, to just not end up losing. Because as soon as that happens, you're done. And the one thing I can say about Derek and Triple V, his business partners, they haven't lost their soul. I mean, I've just not met people that have that level of wealth and have not lost who they are. So that is hopefully the journey and the path that I will continue to be on for the rest of my life. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll be back on Tech Bros, 9:30 p.m. I'll be there with Tanner and Roy. We'll talk about IBKR, hoods, Sofi, Tesla, Nvda. We'll get into all that stuff. We got Nvda earnings this week. That'll be a big one. And then first stream on the new apartment is September 1st. I went to the apartment today. I got a lot of ideas for the background. We got a lot of gifts to put up in the background. So I'll be working pretty hard over the next couple of days to really make this background special. And then September 1st, we're doing it. And it'll be a new era for the market open. So there you go. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Love you all. I'll see you guys tonight on the Tech Bros podcast and tomorrow on the market open. Yes, I am bringing my bricks. I think I've decided I'm bringing my bricks. So I'm going to have to use, my strength to really install the bricks, because it's going to be complicated. As you can see right here, my mom probably wants to redo something with my room. So I'm going to have to take all these bricks out and establish, the cement the way it was before, and then put the new bricks inside the apartment. So just know I'll be working. I definitely won't be Googling Amazon brick wallpapers. I will be working, because I know you guys are thinking I'm doing it, but that's not what I'm doing. I just gave a speech on hard work, so I'm going to be working hard to get these bricks up. All right, that's it. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys tonight, and then tomorrow on the market open. Bye, everybody.